Chapter 1327. Fine. Chu Qingyi gently shook her head and said. She had merely felt uncomfortable just now. I don't believe it. If you're really fine, smile for me and let me see. Lu Chongqing said quite naturally. By the way, I haven't seen what you look like when you smile. Chu Qingyi. She could smile, of course. After all, in her daily life, there were always moments of happiness and joy. But being suddenly asked to smile on demand, she truly didn't know how. Her lips twitched slightly before she softly said, I don't know how. You don't even know how? Then allow your husband to show you a smile. Lu Chongqing reached out with 2 fingers to pull at the corners of his lips, making a silly face and a grinning expression. Even though Chu Qingyi's mental state was tightly wound, she couldn't help but laugh at Lu Chengsheng's antics, completely ignoring the fact that he referred to himself as your husband. See? Didn't you end up smiling after all? Lu Chongqing watched her reaction and smiled, saying, You should smile more often, you look beautiful when you do. Chu Qingyi, realizing she had lost some composure, toned down her smile slightly. She then looked up at the man before her and said, Lu Daoist, Qingyi truly appreciates your great kindness and willingness to step in to save me. But you are Dao companions with Xiaofan, and she is my sister disciple. I cannot do anything that would betray her. Moreover, my heart is devoted to cultivation, and I am uninterested in matters of romance between men and women. I hope that the matters between us will end here. As for your kindness, Qingyi will always remember it. Should there be a time in the future when you require my assistance, I will not hesitate to risk boiling waters or shattering bones. Your secret will also remain locked in my heart. I won't tell anyone. Chu Qingyi summoned her courage, looked at Lu Chongqing, and spoke earnestly. She had thought over these words for a long time, but hadn't known how to bring them up. With the way things were between them, ambiguous, overly intimate, it had stirred turmoil in her heart and cast a shadow over her sword heart. She no longer wished to delay and finally mustered the courage to make everything clear. Boiling waters, shattering bones? Why not simply offer yourself to me instead? Lu Chongqing reflexively blurted out. However, noticing the woman pressing her lips into a tight line and looking solemn, he immediately adopted a serious demeanor and said, If Xiaofan were to know the circumstances at the time, I believe she would have wished for me to save Qingyi as well. Therefore, Qingyi, there is no need to feel guilty. Afterward, I will explain everything to Xiaofan. As for matters of affection, such things should never be forced. Although I fell for you at first sight, it doesn't mean you are obliged to reciprocate. There's simply no such reasoning in this world, so Qingyi, you shouldn't feel any guilt. If Qingyi feels indebted for the events that transpired and forces yourself because of that, it would make me feel ashamed instead. In the days ahead, Qingyi, you may regard me as just an ordinary friend. There's no need to strain yourself. Sar the Oval Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongqing took a deep breath and spoke. Indeed, while Chu Qingyi was troubled by her connection to Xiaofan, even without that connection, someone like Chu Qingyi was unlikely to easily be moved. Therefore, Lu Chongqing hadn't deluded himself into thinking that saving her through dual cultivation would instantly make her fall for him. However, since he was already on board the metaphorical car, getting her to buy a ticket afterward would become much easier. Sigh. Chu Qingyi heard his words but didn't feel any joy or relief. There's a saying, the hardest debts to repay are those of a bowtie's grace. She felt that, in her case facing Lu Chongqing, it was the hardship of repaying a handsome man's favor. From their first meeting, he had openly revealed his feelings, his affection, admiration, and pursuit of her beauty, without any attempt to hide. Though previously, he had indeed taken so many liberties with her, now his measured restraint and gentlemanly demeanor made him seem like a noble and courteous man, warming her like the spring breeze. It left her utterly at a loss. Thank you, Lu Daoist. After saying what was on her mind, Chu Qingyi felt as if a weight had lifted off her shoulders. She decided that once they were done wandering around these next few days, she would bid farewell to Lu Chongqing and leave. Otherwise, continuing to spend time with Lu Chongqing like this would keep disrupting her flawless sword heart, stirring up chaotic thoughts and emotional turbulence. Let's eat first. Just relax and be natural. Lu Chongqing said with a smile. This woman is so idiotic. Do you think this dog of a man will let you off so easily? In the formless domain, Nangong merely watched the scene unfold, her face full of disdain. However, seeing how Lu Chongqing treated Chu Qingyi while she herself remained suppressed in the domain, Nangong merely couldn't help but feel an inexplicable sense of frustration rising in her heart. Sour, bitter, and vexed. She immediately sneered and cursed at Lu Chongqing. Dog of a man! Mealy, are you jealous? The old ancestor Lu, multitasking at once, maintained an outwardly calm appearance with a gracefully serene smile. Scram! Nangong merely instantly cursed coldly. Heh! Lu Chongqing merely chuckled, planning to educate her about family discipline at some later time. Regularly accustomed to the finest delicacies, this meal was only mediocre to the old ancestor Lu. Chu Qingyi, perhaps afraid that Lu Chongqing might initiate a conversation with her again, ate very seriously, and in doing so presented a pleasing scene to behold. Let's go! After finishing the meal, Lu Chongqing effortlessly reached for Chu Qingyi's hand, preparing to continue shopping and visit a few merchant shops. Being held by Lu Chongqing in such a manner caused Chu Qingyi to tremble slightly, and she instinctively pulled her hand away, speaking softly. Lu Daoist. Didn't they just clarify everything moments ago? Why was he still being so close? What's wrong, Qingyi? Lu Changsheng's gaze remained pure, his demeanor unperturbed as he replied, I'm still planning to purchase some spiritual materials. Qingyi, do you need anything? Sigh. Chu Qingyi inwardly sighed, thinking that with the situation as it was, she might as well go along with it for these few days. She lightly shook her head and said, I don't need anything. After speaking, she paused and then softly added, if Lu Daoist requires any materials, Qingyi can help. Being a nascent soul immortal of the Qingyun sect, she typically only exchanged heavenly and earthly treasures from the sect's treasury when needed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1328. It's also possible to post a task and have others search for it. This is far more convenient than relying on ordinary loose cultivators or clan cultivators. Alright, I'll take a look later at what's needed. When the time comes, I'll be counting on you, Qingyi. S.E. of the novel, F. Iyer. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongqing replied with a smile. The other party currently harbored guilt towards him. Asking her for help frequently could not only ease the situation but also draw them closer together. Moreover, he could use this reason in the future to seek out Chu Qingyi. Chu Qingyi watched him agree so quickly, thinking to herself whether she had misspoken. TSK, my connections in the Qingyun sect are getting stronger and stronger. Lu Chongqing sighed inwardly. A few years later, when Xiaofan breaks through to core formation, he will have 3 core formation backers in the Qingyun sect. But if Kai Yun True Immortal learns about Chu Qingyi's situation, will she still be willing to help him? She might just wish to cut him down with a single sword strike. Want some candied hawthorn? Lu Chongqing looked at a stall ahead and asked. No. Chu Qingyi shook her head gently. But Lu Chongqing still went ahead and purchased a skewer. Taking one bite, he remarked that it tasted pretty good and gestured for Chu Qingyi to try it. Chu Qingyi was momentarily startled, but upon meeting Lu Changsheng's tender and affectionate gaze, she parted her lips slightly and bit into one. The taste was unexpectedly good. Quite tasty, isn't it? Qingyi, you probably don't get the chance to stroll around like this very often, do you? Lu Chongqing said with a smile. There's a saying, if she is inexperienced in the world, show her the wonders of life. If she's weary of its burdens, share with her the simplicity of a carousel ride. For someone of Chu Qingyi's age, she must have experienced much and gained considerable insight. However, as Lu Chongqing saw it, her insight was mostly confined to the domain of cultivation. As for the chaos of the mortal world and personal affection, she has only superficial knowledge but little first-hand experience. So these ordinary little moments should strike a chord with her and become unforgettable memories. Chu Qingyi nodded slightly. Lu Chongqing smiled but didn't keep talking. Instead, he took her slender hand, walking side by side down the street, occasionally entering shops to inquire about goods and purchase spiritual materials. For some reason, this simple stroll gradually began to feel peculiar to Chu Qingyi. She reflected for a long time before pinpointing the source of this peculiarity. She seemed to no longer mind Lu Changsheng's close gestures. Moreover, their intimate behavior was strikingly similar to that of some couples or Dao companions seen occasionally on the street. At this moment, Lu Chongqing noticed a nearby Tianyi pavilion and said aloud, "The dresses here are quite nice. Qingyi, want to try one?" "No need." Chu Qingyi gently shook her head. "Qingyi, don't you usually have hobbies of your own?" Lu Chongqing didn't insist and casually asked. "Practicing swordsmanship. Just sword practice and cultivation?" Lu Chongqing clicked his tongue and commented, "No wonder Qingyi has achieved such greatness. But if life consists only of cultivation and swordsmanship, don't you find it lonely and boring?" Chu Qingyi glanced at Lu Chongqing, remained silent for a moment, and then softly said, "Morning spurns Bodhi, evening seeks great Luo, perilous passes and treacherous paths disdain solitude. Lifelong love for a 7-foot sword cuts through my illusions to reveal my true self." Lu Chongqing hadn't expected his little ploy to be seen through by Chu Qingyi, who countered him so resolutely. Indeed, anyone who cultivated to core formation wasn't foolish. Chu Qingyi had already moved past her initial lost and uncertain state and knew how to handle him now. But even the fiercest woman can be won over with persistent affection. If one is willing to invest time and endure embarrassment, surely the beauty could be swept off her feet. For us cultivators, the purpose is naturally the pursuit of the great Tao. The sword Tao is undoubtedly alluring. I too once devoted myself wholeheartedly to swordsmanship. But later, I realized that the world is brimming with countless wonders and beautiful things. If one channels all their efforts into cultivation alone, neglecting and missing out on such experiences, they would regret it deeply in the end. Lu Chongqing said softly, "Chu Qingyi, this isn't the same man with a harem and countless descendants, is it? How did he go from being obsessed with swordsmanship?" But thinking about Lu Chongqing's swordsmanship heritage and the techniques Head demonstrated before, she felt skeptical yet slightly convinced. Perhaps he had wholeheartedly pursued swordsmanship in his early years but later abandoned it to cultivate the talisman path and focus on his family? Wait, no, when he helped her break through core formation, he didn't seem to be a talisman cultivator either. Chu Qingyi was somewhat baffled. Still, she realized that Lu Chongqing's words were likely an attempt to use the sword Tao as an analogy to sway her perspective. The world may indeed hold much beauty, but for us cultivators, cultivation is the foundation. Being too distracted will squander one's lifespan, ultimately hindering progress and resulting in genuine regret. Moreover, Qingyi isn't entirely uninterested in other things outside of swordsmanship and cultivation. It's simply a matter of priorities and choice. Chu Qingyi responded in a low voice. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1329. Does Qingyi truly understand the matter of choices and compromises? Life is but a journey of cultivation, and every experience is a passing scenery. If one encounters a delightful view, why not pause and savor it for a while? Lu Chongqing chuckled lightly and said, "Besides, the great Tao is boundless. If one has 2 or 3 confidants to support each other and journey hand in hand through the vast years, wouldn't that be a great blessing as well?" Chu Qingyi did not retort. After a brief silence, she softly asked, "Lu Daoist, why did you abandon the sword Tao?" Even though she couldn't discern the truth in Lu Chongqing's words, the time he used sword qi to dispel poison and the fact that he passed her, the 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture, both demonstrated his extraordinary talent in sword Tao and the significant effort he had invested in it. Under such circumstances, his choice to switch to cultivating another path truly puzzled her. Didn't I already mention it? In this world, there are simply too many beautiful things. If one devotes their entire focus to a single aspect, one might miss out on other wonderful things. Lu Chongqing gently held Chu Qingyi's smooth jade-like hand and continued, "When I was cultivating sword Tao, I was utterly enamored. My heart was wholly immersed in it. Yet as I practiced, I gradually lost interest in everything else, unwilling to explore or attempt other pursuits, even feeling a certain disdain deep within. But later, I came across a talisman path cultivation technique. After a brief study, I discovered that I was even more intrigued by the talisman path. Afterward, due to my family's needs, I delved into spirit plant cultivation, spirit cooking, wine brewing, alchemy, and artifact refining. I found that every path within the 100 arts of cultivation possessed its own unique allure." Lu Chongqing walked alongside Chu Qingyi down the street, speaking with a smile. Lu Daoist, your talent and aptitude are truly rare in Qingyi's lifetime. But for cultivators like us, cultivation level is the absolute foundation. Chu Qingyi pursed her lips, glanced at Lu Chongqing, and remarked. She had heard of Lu Changsheng's reputation as the unparalleled master of pill and talisman. To her surprise, besides sword Dao and his prowess in alchemy and talisman making, Lu Chongqing had even studied so many additional arts. Moreover, he had transitioned from being a sword cultivator to a talisman cultivator, and now to another cultivation path. Could this person be the reincarnation of a celestial being? Even though Chu Qingyi herself understood some other cultivation techniques and the 100 arts of cultivation outside sword Dao, she only explored them in times of bottlenecks during her practice, to cultivate her character and gain insights from related disciplines. She would never spend much time or energy on them. Frankly, she lacked the abundant time and energy to do so. Yet Lu Chongqing, younger than her, had devoted such effort and still achieved a remarkable cultivation realm. It was truly astonishing and utterly inconceivable. Even though she had always been hailed as a genius, in the face of Lu Chongqing at this moment, she felt inferior. Qingyi's words, I naturally acknowledge. Lu Chongqing nodded with a smile and continued, but 100 years of life is like a single day to a mayfly. Is there truly any meaning in longevity to me? Even if you and I achieve the golden core stage and enjoy a 500-year lifespan, it would simply be another form of entrapment. Wouldn't it be better to have a beautiful companion, descendants aplenty, and savor life's joys together in the mortal world? Even if one ultimately stumbles through life, it's better to leave no regrets. If one is solely focused on cultivation, looking back at a half-lifetime of solitude and coldness, could one's heart truly remain free of regrets? Sir the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. After finishing his words, Lu Chongqing sighed deeply and carried on, I am different from Qingyi. Born in meager circumstances, I've seen many loose cultivators who forsook their families, abandoned lovers, discarded friendships, and wandered far and wide just to seek immortality. Yet in the end, they lived in poverty and solitude, buried in desolate lands, with neither success nor lasting achievement in their Dao. Who could say that their Dao hearts were not resolute? But life is like a chess game. Once a move is made, there's no turning back. Lu Chongqing looked at Chu Qingyi sincerely and said, I am not trying to persuade Qingyi to give up cultivation or sword Dao. I only hope that while Qingyi cultivates, you take more time to appreciate the scenery around you. Only then can life be without regrets, leaving behind no lingering remorse. Chu Qingyi carefully contemplated Lu Changsheng's words, finding them indeed reasonable. From a young age, she was taken in and nurtured by her master Yun Wanshang, who held high hopes for her. Thus, from the moment she could remember, cultivation became her duty and sole goal. Gifted with a natural sword heart, she grasped even the most advanced sword techniques and cultivation methods effortlessly, swiftly mastering them. Because of this, she dedicated her time and energy solely to sword Dao, gradually losing interest in other pursuits. Lu Daoist possesses a broad and profound perspective. He is no ordinary man. Chu Qingyi murmured softly. She understood Lu Chongqing was attempting to convince her and indeed resonated with his philosophy. However, she held her own thoughts and reasoning, not so easily swayed. Moreover, she truly didn't know how to handle emotions of this kind. Ha ha ha, I am but a simple man, a commoner as plain as can be. Lu Chongqing, realizing it was not easy to persuade her, laughed while leading Chu Qingyi to a nearby jewelry store. Chu Qingyi, like a shy bride, allowed herself to be guided by him, mulling over his earlier words. She found Lu Chongqing quite peculiar. Unlike most people she had encountered in her daily life. Before forming her core, many of her fellow disciples or cultivators from other immortal sects sought to pursue her. But those individuals always treated her like an exalted fairy, never once behaving as Lu Chongqing did. For a moment, she didn't know how to describe it. Shameless, roguish, or perhaps carefree and unrestrained. Here, Qingyi, try this. I think it suits you. While she pondered, Lu Chongqing picked up a plum blossom tassel hairpin and moved to place it on her. Chu Qingyi's heart skipped a beat. She wanted to say something but, seeing the natural transparency reflected in Lu Changsheng's gaze, she was struck speechless and let him gather her long ponytail. His movements were practiced and didn't take advantage of her in any way. But as she beheld Lu Changsheng's affectionate and intimate demeanor, her heart, which had just barely calmed, once again churned into a tangled mess. Her delicate eyes carried a trace of shyness. As expected, beauty needs no embellishment. But Qing Yi still looks best in her original appearance. Valiant and heroic, with sword intent radiating majestically. Lu Changsheng rubbed his chin, observed closely for a moment, and commented with a smile. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1330. On ordinary days, Chu Qingjia's delicate brows and ink-stained gaze, coupled with her cold sword-like eyes, rendered her beauty striking without the need for excessive adornment. Now, with their simple disguises, Chu Qingyi shed her usual aloofness. Her raven-black hair was tied up, and her entire bearing exuded an air of a gentle and virtuous wife, a grace that made one want to tease her tenderly. Lu Changsheng promptly planted a kiss on her smooth, fair cheek. Chu Qingjia's expression turned flustered, her beautiful eyes filled with embarrassed anger. This man claimed he wouldn't force her, didn't he? Earlier he had stubbornly held her hand, and now he was acting like this. Noticing the nearby shopkeeper watching them with a cheerful smile, Chu Qingyi shot Lu Changsheng a chastising glare before whispering, "Lu Daoist, didn't you say this would be the end of it previously?" S.E.A. The Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Indeed, I said Qingyi needn't feel obliged or force herself. Lu Changsheng chuckled lightly, drawing closer under Chu Qingjia's furious yet shy gaze. If Qingyi dislikes it, you can just tell me directly. Chu Qingyi. This man remains as shameless as ever, constantly pushing boundaries. Yet, for some reason she was starting to get used to it. I noticed Qingyi hasn't said anything, nor did you resist. I thought you might not dislike it, Lu Changsheng said softly, and his words weren't even fully spoken before he leaned closer to her luscious lips. Chu Qingyi turned crimson with shame, attempting to resist but not daring to exert too much force. She could only press her pink lips together and gently push him away. After several breaths, her face burned with anger and embarrassment as she stammered, You broke your promise." Even with her mild temperament, she couldn't help but feel frustrated at the moment. Looking at Chu Qingjia's cold yet clear gaze, as pure and tender as water, accompanied by her ashamed and angry expression, Lu Changsheng whispered, "I only thought Qingyi seemed burdened. I was hoping to cheer you up a little." Chu Qingyi. Do you not understand why I seem burdened? And is this your idea of cheering someone up? Chu Qingyi pulled Lu Changsheng out of the shop, pursed her lips, mustering her courage to speak softly. "Lu Daoist, I have no intention of pursuing matters of romance, nor can I betray Shiyu. What if Shiyu doesn't mind?" Lu Changsheng suddenly interjected. Chu Qingyi froze, momentarily struck dumb. Yet upon reflection, if there weren't her junior sister's involvement, and no need to worry about being reprimanded by her master, it seemed she wouldn't feel as resistant after all. She quickly steadied her mind, shaking her head as she replied, "Lu Daoist, this isn't related to Shiyu. Right now, I am focused on cultivation and uninterested in affairs of romance." "I understand, Qingyi." Lu Changsheng's tone carried a trace of despondency. "Lu Daoist, for those who succeed in cultivation, all are absorbed in it, indifferent to emotional attachments. Matters of romance. Daoist, you have the talent of a heavenly being. You should prioritize cultivation," Chu Qingyi said, her heart feeling an inkling of pity. To her, Lu Changsheng focusing his thoughts on romantic matters was simply a waste of his natural gifts. Emotional attachments are fundamental to human nature. If ascension requires discarding them, what would be the meaning of cultivation? Lu Changsheng shook his head lightly as he replied, "Qingyi thinks I'm overly captivated by beauty and romance? But each person has their own path. I abandoned the sword Dao to experience various great Daos, and I discovered that this is the Dao I pursue." Lu Changsheng gazed at Chu Qingyi with utmost seriousness. Listening to his candid yet unmistakably infused with demon path ideology words, Chu Qingyi found herself at a loss for how to respond. "So, I've become part of his Dao too? If he couldn't pursue me successfully, would that mean his great Dao wouldn't achieve perfection?" She let out a sigh. Romantic entanglements and beauty are of no benefit to cultivation. Such pursuits are trivial paths. Taoist, with your celestial talents, you should transcend such distractions. That's why I call myself an ordinary man. I adore beauty, just as Qingyi loves swords. It has nothing to do with great Taoists or small paths. Lu Chongqing didn't argue further, chuckling lightly as he spoke. Chu Qingyi said no more. She understood her current state. If she kept arguing with him, she'd only end up influenced by this person. Lu Chongqing remained undeterred, calmly holding Chu Qingyi's hand as they wandered leisurely. This shameless man, truly the absolute worst. Nangong Meili from the formless domain watched the scene unfold, her face icy with disdain as she muttered curses, feeling Lu Chongqing was quite suited to walking the demon path. Yet, as she considered how he, despite his strength, was willing to humor Chu Qingyi and herself, she begrudgingly admitted he had his positives. Had he been like certain demonic path cultivators, arrogantly reckless, it would only awaken deep-seated disgust in her. Although the great dream immortal city was bustling, it couldn't completely fulfill Lu Changsheng's procurement needs. Whether it was rare materials or earth-grade water bloodline dragon-blood demon beasts, none could be obtained directly. He would have to wait for auctions or trading fairs. Passing by a pavilion with the words, Heaven Knowledge Tower, inscribed on it, Lu Chongqing led Chu Qingyi inside to inquire about intelligence regarding the Tianyuan secret realm, as well as the situation surrounding the Qingyun sect and by Lake Mountain. Moments later, the heavenly sword sect's Yun Jianfeng has broken through to Nascent Soul and joined Shenjian True Monarch in ambushing the Heavenly Fiend True Monarch at the Tianyuan secret realm. Heavenly Fiend True Monarch's physical body was destroyed, and only his nascent soul allowed him to narrowly escape with his life. Lu Chongqing read the information from the jade slip, astonished. Back in the Tianyuan secret realm, he knew that nascent souls were clashing outside. It had even been mentioned by the Tianyuan True Monarch that 3 nascent soul cultivators were involved. But he never would have thought that the 3rd nascent soul True Monarch was also from the Heavenly Sword sect. It turned out to be Yun Jianfeng, the one who suppressed demonic path cultivators in Zhouxiao Immortal City years ago. This cultivator formed a superior gold core, and 5 or 6 decades ago was already regarded as second only to Shenjian True Monarch. Now breaking through to nascent soul, it's certainly reasonable. Lu Chongqing mused inwardly. The Heavenly Sword sect gaining another nascent soul True Monarch was undeniably a major event. It might even impact the future trajectory of Jiang country. Especially since both of these nascent soul True Monarchs seem to be formidable figures. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1331. Back then, Shenjian True Monarch fought alone against 2 nascent souls of Jin Kingdom. Now this absolute sword True Monarch, shortly after breaking through to nascent soul, almost ambushed a nascent soul True Lord with Shenjian True Monarch, which is clearly extraordinary. Could it be that what Yun Wanshang mentioned about the Pioneer Order is actually Heavenly Sword sect's intent to expand the territory of Jiang country? Or perhaps with long-standing conflicts between Liang country and Yu country, Jiang country and Yu country intend to take the initiative, sparking a war in the cultivation world? Lu Chongqing speculated in his heart. Having an additional nascent soul True Lord in Jiang country is naturally a good thing. But the resources needed for a nascent soul True Lord to cultivate are also immense. As a sect's ancestor, if one does not venture out to seek opportunities and resources, the most common way is to seize resources through war. Qingyi, do you know about Absolute Sword True Monarch's breakthrough? At this moment, Lu Chongqing thought of the Qingyun sect authority beside him and asked aloud. Yes, Absolute Sword True Monarch had already cultivated to the peak of core formation, always waiting for the opportunity to break through to nascent soul. Shenjian True Monarch calculated that Absolute Sword True Monarch's breakthrough opportunity lay in the Tianyuan secret realm, which is why the Tianyuan secret realm was sealed in earlier years, due to Absolute Sword True Monarch's attempt to breach nascent soul. Chu Qingyi said softly. Though this matter was considered a secret, now that the Tianyuan secret realm affair is over, it's not much of a secret anymore. Absolute Sword True Monarch broke through to nascent soul in the Tianyuan secret realm? Lu Chongqing was surprised in his heart. He had previously heard that there were nascent soul opportunities in the Tianyuan secret realm, thinking it was fake news, with someone deliberately muddying the waters. Unexpectedly, the rumors turned out to be true, and this newly advanced True Monarch successfully broke through in the Tianyuan secret realm. Yes, I heard from the Supreme Elder that breaking through from core formation to nascent soul requires not only one's foundation but also the influence of celestial transformations and mysterious destiny. The Tianyuan secret realm not only has a fourth-rank spirit vein but also possesses a celestial fortune, perfectly suited for absolute sword true monarch to assault nascent soul. Chu Qingyi spoke up and said so. Lu Chongqing nodded slightly. Regarding the breakthrough from core formation to nascent soul, he had heard about it from Hong Lian. It not only requires the right time, place and people but is also connected to the mysterious destiny of heaven and earth. Therefore, to break through to nascent soul, many people will wait for the right opportunity. Is Shenjian True Monarch also a diviner? At this point, Lu Chongqing thought about what Chu Qingyi had said about Shenjian True Monarch's calculation and couldn't help raising an eyebrow, inquiring aloud. Yes, Shenjian True Monarch's divination art is extraordinary, being the top divination grandmaster in Jiang country. Chu Qingyi nodded gently. These individuals who can become nascent soul true monarchs are indeed remarkable. Especially the Shenjian True Monarch, who is not only formidable in combat but also skilled in divination. Lu Changsheng's eyes slightly narrowed, feeling that interacting with nascent soul immortals was all right. However, when it comes to nascent soul true lords and those proficient in divination, it's best to avoid them. Although the art of divination can only make vague predictions, for these individuals, if they predict you have issues, it's troublesome. But with the mysterious heaven spiritual vine at home suppressing destiny, as long as he's not noticed, there shouldn't be major issues. He continued to ask, Qingyi, now that Heavenly Sword Sect has an additional nascent soul true lord, will they initiate a war of expansion or a cultivation war? Heavenly Sword Sect intends to pioneer the Myriad Beasts mountain range, but as for a cultivation war, I am not certain at the moment. Chu Qingyi said so. Currently, in the cultivation world of Jiang country, besides the Myriad Beasts mountain range, there aren't many spirit veins open for pioneering. For mountain ranges like Luoyun mountain range, Heavenly Sword Sect doesn't even consider it. Even if they plan to pioneer, it's up to forces like Qingyun Sect, Wuxia Sect, and Spirit Taming Sect to decide based on circumstances. Lu Chongqing nodded, understanding that once Heavenly Sword Sect decides to pioneer, it will undoubtedly impact other immortal forces. Qingyi, if you reach the peak of core formation and want to assault nascent soul, can you use the dojo of Heavenly Sword Sect for the breakthrough? At this moment, Lu Chongqing thought of a question. He remembered that the spiritual vein of Qingyun Sect lacks the fourth rank, unable to support a nascent soul cultivator's breakthrough. So he was curious, if Yun Wanshang cultivates to the peak of core formation, could she go to Heavenly Sword Sect for the breakthrough? After all, Jiang country's 4 great immortal sects are like branches of the same tree, so borrowing the spiritual vein dojo for a breakthrough sounds reasonable. If you pay a certain price, it should be possible. However, breaking through to nascent soul emphasizes the right time, place, and people, and the mysterious fortune of timing, so most people choose to go out on adventures to seek nascent soul opportunities. Chu Qingyi thought for a moment before saying so. Search * the novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Although fourth-rank spirit veins are rare, according to records of Qingyun Sect, there are quite a few fourth-rank immortal cities in the southern wilderness. As long as one pays the price, going to these immortal cities for a breakthrough is also possible. Even though the 4 great immortal sects seem like branches of the same tree, it's uncertain whether Heavenly Sword Sect wants them to produce more nascent soul cultivators or not. After all, though the 4 great immortal sects seem to be of the same level, everyone knows that Jiang country only acknowledges Heavenly Sword Sect as the overlord. Lu Daoist, if you want to assault nascent soul in the future, you might visit the major 4th-rank immortal cities first, Chu Qingyi said in a low voice. In her view, with Lu Changsheng's talent, he is bound to assault nascent soul in the future. I'm just asking. Lu Chongqing laughed. He still has a long way to go before reaching nascent soul. Who knows, one day the system might give him a 4th-rank spirit vein, so there's no rush now. However, from Chu Qingyi's words, he realized that the relationship between the 4 great immortal sects is not as harmonious as it appears on the surface. It's quite normal when you think about it. Now the 4 great immortal sects are stable. But if the Qingyun Sect, Wuxia Sect, or Spirit Taming Sect produces a nascent soul true lord, can the balance still be maintained? Can the cultivation world of Jiang country really support so many nascent soul true lords? Then, Lu Chongxing turned to the latest information and intelligence from Qing Yun's sect and by Lake Mountain. From it, he saw the information that Qing Yun's sect's Qingyi True Master went missing in the Tianyuan secret realm, and by Lake Mountain's ancestor, Lu Chongxing, was ambushed by a nascent soul immortal in the Tianyuan secret realm, suspected to have fallen in the secret realm. Why is it that you went missing, but am merely suspected to have fallen in the secret realm? Lu Chongxing felt a bit displeased seeing this information. Although Heaven Knowledge Tower is an intelligence organization, it's impossible for them to verify everything, and some intelligence information will be subjectively judged. I am an elder of Qing Yun's sect, and unless the sect itself disseminates exact information, there will be no external news regarding my fall. Seeing Lu Changsheng's reaction, Chu Qingyi found it somewhat amusing and said softly, Lu Chongxing nodded, thinking that after experiencing such an incident, his wives and children at home would definitely be worried. Although they might be able to reach him through the Mount Sumeru Tree King and ensure his safety as long as he's not noticed, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. Well, if there's nothing else, I should be heading back. Lu Chongxing took a deep breath, and the thought of flirting disappeared. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1332. Great Dream Marsh. The vast waters stretch endlessly, majestic and boundless. Qing-yi, since this is not to your liking, let's part here. Lu Chongxing suddenly looked at Chu Qingyi's side and said, with our parting today, I will consider this time as nothing but a dream. When we meet again in the future, let us regard each other as fellow Taoists. While speaking, he released Chu Qingyi's slender, fair hand and slowly put on a ring. As if noticing Chu Qingyi's puzzlement, Lu Chongxing whispered, it's just a little trinket I bought earlier, doesn't cost much, just consider it a memento. If you don't like it, feel free to throw it away. Chu Qingyi was slightly stunned. She had sensed before that Lu Chongxing seemed troubled, thought he was worried about family matters. Now hearing these words, she realized he was conflicted about his own issues. Search * the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Looking at Lu Chongxing with eyes no longer filled with gentle affection, but rather with calm and composure, Chu Qingyi's expression became slightly dazed. As if the tender words, the sweet affection from before, were all just a dream. Did he really just let go like this? Was it because her previous rejection hurt him? Or did he understand her true desires and chose to let go? Regarding our matter, if Master asks, Chu Daoist, you don't need to hide anything. I will explain to Shi Yu and Master myself. As for others, I hope Chu Daoist will cover for me a little. If anything happens, you can come to Bai Lake Mountain to find me any time. After speaking, Lu Chongxing showed a trace of gentle reluctance in his eyes. Yet with a resolute demeanor, he cupped his hands and transformed into a divine rainbow, flying towards the 9 heavens gang wind. Chu Qingyi looked at the vanished Lu Chongxing. All the interactions between them over the past few days surged to her heart unexpectedly. She bit her lip lightly, looking at the ring on her slender fingers, feeling somewhat at a loss, just feeling empty and lost. Sigh. A moment later, Chu Qingyi sighed deeply. Whether it was in the Tianyuan Lotus where he exerted great effort to save her, or the intimate time spent in the dream immortal city, it was all unforgettable for her. Perhaps at any time she would think of him. Especially, he left her with this ring before leaving. Afraid that in the future, seeing this ring would uncontrollably remind her of him. Even though he said if she didn't like it, she could throw it away. But could she throw away the ring, erase his traces? Chu Qingyi knew that her sword heart had already gathered dust. Taking a deep breath, her beautiful eyes gradually became clear and determined, her sword intent sharp, then she transformed into a sword light and shot up into the sky, disappearing. In the 9 heavens gang wind, Lu Chongxing was stepping on the starlight plate, surrounded by the flowing luster of countless stars. He certainly did not really intend to separate from her forever. Simply knowing Chu Qingyi's character, capturing her heart would not be achieved in a moment, better to alternate between warmth and cold for a while. Moreover, being born with a sword heart, her years of cultivation have already made her dedication to the sword surpass emotional attachments. Even if feelings have stirred in her heart, a period of calm is needed, waiting for the seed to slowly sprout, not too hastily. As for giving the ring, besides hoping she would think of him when seeing the ring, it is also a form of probing. Even if she throws away the ring, she can't stop cultivating, right? Lu Changsheng's mental spirit stirred slightly, his qi ocean core trembled, and a faint golden transparent wheel appeared, spiraling in his hand. Buzz! A woman of breathtaking beauty and sensuality appeared, her skin fair as jade, curves astonishing, wearing a purple dress. Mealy, it's been hard on you these days. Lu Chongqing looked at the purple-dressed woman, her face filled with anger, and gently said, reaching out to clasp her seemingly boneless slender hand. Go away, you scoundrel. Nangong Mealy, having seen Lu Chongqing being affectionate with Chu Qingyi, was naturally displeased, feeling jealous and bitter. Now released from the formless domain by Lu Chongqing, her pent-up anger suddenly erupted. She slapped his hand away. Haha, still jealous are you? You know the situation before. If Qingyun's sect found out you were in Jiang country, it would definitely cause trouble, so I did it for your own good. Lu Chongqing didn't get angry, spoke with a laugh. Humph, that woman is still recovering from serious injury. Hardly my opponent. Nangong Mealy said with disdain, her face icy. Though suppressed by Lu Chongqing, she was nonetheless a core formation middle-stage cultivator. Mealy, you didn't cause trouble for me before, I'm very happy, but I don't like the way you're speaking now. Lu Chongqing glanced at her, his voice calm and indifferent, yet carried unquestionable authority. With women like Chu Qingyi, gentle words are appropriate. But with women like Nangong Mealy, it's clearly ineffective. Even speaking kindly to her might cause her to disdain you. Who wants you to like it? And who's your wife? Nangong Mealy said with a look of disgust and contempt. Facing Chu Qingyi, he was so gentle, but with her, he showed no patience. You came to Jiang country not just for the Tianyuan secret realm, but for another purpose, didn't you? Lu Changsheng's expression was calm, speaking blandly. Previously in the Tianyuan secret realm, Nangong Mealy suddenly attacked him, using a love gu, which made him suspect she came from more than just the Tianyuan secret realm, possibly to seek revenge. After all, the loss from the Lockhart gu, she surely wouldn't swallow it. Moreover, when they united energetically, he used the yin-yang energies to nurture her true elixir, bringing out some golden core charm. For a nascent soul cultivator, the transformation of true elixir into golden core is an irresistible temptation. Surely she wouldn't want to miss it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1333. So Lu Chongqing guessed, this woman was using the love gu on him, having such intentions. Naturally, you humiliated me back then, used the Lockhart gu on me and Xiaofan, how can this grudge be easily dismissed? Nangong Mealy was dressed in a purple gauze dress, her figure gracefully alluring. Even with her face cold as frost at this moment, she still exuded enchanting charm, utterly seductive. 100 years cultivate crossing the same boat, 1,000 years cultivate sharing the same bed. There's no overnight grudge between husband and wife. This matter has passed for so long, let the rights and wrongs be left behind. Lu Chongqing was too lazy to argue or explain anything to the other party, speaking up. Nangong Mealy couldn't believe this person had the audacity to speak such shameless words. Who would cultivate sharing the same bed with you? All right, tell me how you've been these years, and the situation with Yao Yao and Xiaofan. Lu Changsheng's voice softened a bit, speaking up. Not only feeling a bit guilty towards his daughter, but also towards Meng Xiaofan. After all, the Lockhart gu has troubled her until now. And Nangong Mealy knew the Lockhart gu was related to Meng Xiaofan. She would certainly blame her. These have nothing to do with you. Nangong Mealy's willow eyebrows furrowed. Her long Danfeng eyes shone with a cold light, like a thorny rose. Even though she knew, as long as she obediently yielded, she might obtain golden core opportunities from Lu Chongqing. But as the dignified heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, does she need to lose face? Besides, if she were to yield, what if afterwards this dogman competes with her for her daughter? Right now, she was most worried that Lu Chongqing would take away her daughter. Mealy, as your husband I speak well to you. Why won't you speak well to me? Lu Chongqing frowned, feeling this woman was simply incessant. One must know his patience is limited. I have nothing to say to you, this person. Nangong Mealy snorted disdainfully with full contempt. Alas! Lu Chongqing looked at Nangong Mealy's exquisitely beautiful face, and sighed helplessly. If softness doesn't work, then he can only be hard, educating her well, conquering her. In the next moment, Nangong Meili saw Lu Chongqing closing in. An invisible domain confined her, her complexion changed slightly, she said coldly. Lu Chongqing, what are you doing? There's no overnight grudge between husband and wife, if there is, conflicts at the head of the bed, peace at the foot. Lu Chongqing looked at Nangong Meili trying to escape. Suddenly an astonishing amount of mana surged out, the terrifying spiritual pressure distorted the world. Buzz buzz buzz. CTH Ovalfire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Behind him, the formless treasure wheel spun, like a golden sun burning. Yin-yang energies flowed around him, spreading wildly, forming a yin-yang Taoist chart, sealing the heavens and earth. The law domain has little effect on nascent soul cultivators. However, Lu Chongqing being the yin-yang great Tao golden core, with the formless treasure wheel's blessing, even against nascent soul immortals, has certain effects of mana confinement, sealing the heavens. Boom! At the same time, Lu Changsheng's chest 9 treasures Rui bone emitted brilliant 9-colored rays. Symbols like tadpoles intertwined, surged, were injected into Nangong Meili's physique, her meridians and dantian. Originally breaking the sealing divine light, Nangong Meili suddenly felt the mana in her body slowing. Immediately after, Lu Chongqing domineeringly embraced the beauty before him. No doubt, Nangong Meili was born to be a seductress. Evidently slender figure, yet the body was explosive to the extreme, with curves, utterly alluring. Truly every inch of skin, every part, exuded soul-stirring fatal temptation. Lu Chongqing, you dog man. What are you doing? Nangong Meili's expression turned pale. She hurriedly shouted. Spoken well and you don't listen, hence I'll let you know what husbandly authority means. As Lu Chongqing spoke, he directly tore Nangong Meili's exquisite and gorgeous clothes into rags, revealing skin as white as snow, partly hidden and partly visible, irresistibly seductive. Bastard, Lu Chongqing, you bastard. Nangong Meili felt extremely humiliated. A surge of indescribable emotion arose in her heart. Even though decades had passed, she still remembered the pain and humiliation when Lu Chongqing abused her back then. Meili, are you deliberately provoking me, just waiting for this ordeal in your heart? Lu Changsheng's physique was robust, making Nangong Meili unable to struggle or move. He whispered close to her earlobe, which was like flawless jade. The magnetic bass of his voice made Nangong Meili's delicate body tremble, her long slender legs radiant and tingling. You're talking nonsense, dogman. Stay away from me. Nangong Meili's face was full of humiliation and fury. She gritted her teeth. Earlier seeing Lu Chongqing condensing the superior grade gold core for Chu Qingyi, she had guessed that nurturing golden core charm might require this ordeal. Yet how would she expect such an ordeal? Really, I feel your body, Meili, is quite honest. Lu Chongqing teased Nangong Meili's ear, which was like jade fat, with his tongue, his hands measuring the slippery and soft fullness and the enticing round curves. Lu Chongqing, you are simply a bastard, shameless. Nangong Meili, although gritting her teeth fiercely, her head slightly raised, her exquisitely beautiful face showing a few enchanting blushes, making her incredibly alluring. Even though Lu Chongqing was battle-hardened, seeing Nangong Meili incredibly charming and seductive, yet authoritative and stunningly beautiful, he felt somewhat restless, having an impulse to conquer her. Yet he still maintained rationality, knowing this place belonged to the 9th heavenly gang wind layer, possibly having nascent soul immortal passing by. Immediately driving the starlight plate, like a comet, he rushed towards the great dream marsh below. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1334. Whoosh! Just as they entered the water's surface, the two of them entered the Tianyuan lotus. It had to be said, with the Tianyuan lotus as a cave heaven treasure, everything became much more convenient. Lu Chongqing, you. Stop now. Lu Chongqing, I must kill you. Time passed slowly. No one knew how long it had been. Nangong Meili's delicate cheeks were blushing pink, with a few strands of sweaty hair sticking to them. Her tender red lips were slightly parted, breathing warmth, her whole body softened like silk, motionless. Her full forehead, perfect cheeks, slender jade-like neck, exquisite collarbone, flawless jade body, all covered in fine beads of sweat, shining with a pink hue, saintly yet alluring, making one's blood race. The originally cold and beautiful phoenix eyes were now misty, halfway open and closed, with a trace of seductive charm swirling within. Sir the Novel Fire, NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Mealy, I told you, there are no overnight grudges between husband and wife. Lu Chongqing looked at the marks on her snowy skin, unable to keep tormenting any further. After all, men tend to be soft-hearted. Even though he had been stern with Nangong Mealy before. But after several rounds of torment, seeing her so weak and helpless, he felt a little heartache. After all, one's wife still needed some cherishing. And such matters in excess would not be good. Nangong Mealy remained silent, her phoenix eyes filled with shame and hatred. In those days, she was severely injured and burdened by her Dao Heart vow and her disciple Meng Xiaochan, so she was humiliated and trampled by Lu Chongqing in every way. But now, she had no power to resist in front of Lu Chongqing. Whether in cultivation level and magical power or physical physique, she was completely suppressed by him. And at the speed Lu Chongqing was growing, she feared she would never have a chance for revenge. All right, now tell me about your situation these years. Lu Chongqing wiped the fragrant sweat from Nangong Mealy's body, speaking gently. He then added, if you keep being stubborn, don't blame your husband for being rude. Nangong Mealy just wanted to retort, but the burning pain on her snowy backside made her heart tremble with a difficult-to-describe feeling. She glared at Lu Chongqing saying coldly, Fine, no need for you to worry. Fine. Then why do you keep running to Jiang country every day? Do you not know the Tianyuan secret realm is dangerous? This time, a nascent soul true lord almost died. Isn't your level just courting death? Hearing this, Lu Chongqing spoke with discontent. A nascent soul true lord almost died? Nangong Mealy was somewhat surprised, although she knew the Tianyuan secret realm was causing quite a stir. But being suppressed by Lu Chongqing in the formless domain, she was unclear of the result. Yun Jianfeng broke through to nascent soul, ambushing the heavenly fiend true monarch of the heavenly slaughter sect outside the secret realm with Shenjian true monarch, causing his physical body to shatter, and only his nascent soul managed to escape. The nascent soul cultivators that came with you to make trouble were nearly all dead. Lu Chongqing recounted the situation of the secret realm, then coldly said, If something were to happen to you, what about Yao Yao? Hearing this, Nangong Mealy suddenly felt a bit fortunate in her heart. Though she had the misty sky bead with her, in such a situation, it was really hard to say if she could escape unharmed. Yet though she was wrong and guilty, seeing Lu Chongqing reprimand her coldly, she still looked unconvinced as she said, What does that have to do with you? Smack! A crisp sound rang out. The snowy white and crimson-red surface stirred up a mesmerizing wave. Lu Chongqing, I'll fight you to the end. Nangong Mealy's disheveled hair, her crimson face full of shame and coldness, said through gritted teeth. However, before she finished speaking, Lu Chongqing had already subdued her. How did you manage to get to this point in the demon sect, not understanding a bit of the situation, or perhaps you think I won't kill you, so you dare to act like this? Lu Chongqing spoke with furrowed brows. Nangong Mealy's heart trembled. It seemed like she indeed did not unconsciously worry about Lu Chongqing killing her. Just like when Lu Chongqing was suppressing her before, she could have fought back, using a life-saving goo insect, but she did not choose to do so. Or maybe, you just like me treating you this way? Lu Chongqing leaned close to her delicate crystalline earlobe, speaking softly. Her earlobe seemed small and delicate, yet was plump and fleshy, sweet and chewy, truly a superb flavor to taste. Lu Chongqing gave it a lick, took it into his mouth, savoring it gently. Nangong Mealy's breath suddenly quickened, her brow furrowed, swatting away Lu Chongqing's actions, her face lush and enticingly beautiful. She said, Get lost, don't think everyone is like you. Heh. Lu Chongqing chuckled softly, reached out to caress Nangong Mealy's rosy cheeks. Nangong Mealy instinctively tried to dodge, speaking coldly, What do you want to do? Though the person before her wouldn't kill her, he would humiliate her in 100 ways. Your hair is a bit messy. Let me smooth it out. Lu Chongqing spoke gently, smoothing a few strands of sweaty hair from her cheek behind her ear. Nangong Mealy seeing this behavior from him, a strange feeling arose in her heart. Did you come over this time looking for my nurturing true elixir? Lu Chongqing continued speaking. This woman, although she admired the strong, was also strong-willed, and couldn't be pressed too hard or treated too excessively. Give a big stick, then a sweet treat, only then can you slowly tame. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1335. That's right. Nan Gongmili frankly admitted. After all, this was her purpose for coming. If she denied it, saying she came just for revenge would seem too fake. But this man mentioned it proactively. Did he want to nurture her golden core? Hee hee. Lu Chongqing chuckled, gently caressing Nan Gongmili's coldly beautiful cheek, whispering, "You know, as your husband, I always bend to gentleness rather than strength." Nan Gongmili's eyes were clear and narrow, like swirling smoke on water, understanding what he meant. If she wanted to nurture the golden core, she had to yield and ask him. They already had this relationship, and being treated this way now, lowering her head and yielding didn't seem like a big deal. After all, compared to the opportunity of the golden core, what's yielding? Many people want it but can't obtain it. But thinking about everything between herself and Lu Chongqing, Nan Gongmili couldn't lower her head. Hee hee, I don't ask much of you, just speak nicely. Lu Changsheng's handsome face, eyes warm, spoke gently. Upon hearing these calm words, an indescribable feeling surged within Nan Gongmili. This wretched man was like a storm earlier, but he didn't mistreat her as he did back then. Otherwise, with this wretched man's physique, even though she was a nascent soul immortal, shed still. Moreover, Lu Chongqing had helped heal her injuries in the past and gifted her an exotic treasure. Now he suppressed her, but it was her who initiated, indirectly saving her life. Even the recent humiliation she endured was sparked by her provoking him. Thinking this way, Nan Gongmili suddenly felt that maybe it was her fault. All right, tell me about the years past, as I have genuinely cared about you and Yao Yao. S.E. the novel, F. IR. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongqing continued to speak gently, pulling Nan Gongmili into his embrace, resting his chin on her silky hair. Even though Nan Gongmili knew Lu Changsheng's appearance was deceitful, she softened a bit, speaking softly. After my injuries healed mostly, I traversed the Myriad Beasts mountain range with Xiaofan back to Jin Kingdom. As for other things, there's nothing much to say. She understood that Lu Chongqing, unlike many righteous cultivators, didn't hold too much of a difference between righteousness and demonic paths. But ultimately, he wasn't a demonic path cultivator. There was nothing to say about her doings in the Five Poisons cult to Lu Chongqing. Traversing the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Lu Chongqing nodded slightly, aware of Nan Gongmili's situation and the danger she and Meng Xiaochan faced crossing the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Moreover, traveling from the Myriad Beasts mountain range to Jin Kingdom required taking a large detour. What about Yao Yao? Lu Chongqing continued to inquire, being the matter he cared about most. Yao Yao is my daughter, has nothing to do with you. Lu Chongqing, I warn you, don't have any ideas about her. Nan Gongmili immediately said with vigilance. Yet her exquisitely beautiful face still held a trace of spring charm that made her appear enchanting and rendered her utterly lacking in intimidation. She is my daughter, how can I not care for her? Lu Chongqing replied helplessly. Nonetheless, from Nan Gongmili's reaction, he understood she truly loved her daughter dearly, needing no worry about her daughter being bullied. As for whether the daughter had grown crooked, Lu Chongqing wasn't concerned anymore. Having such a mother and growing up in Five Poisons cult, it'd be a miracle if she didn't. Thus, Lu Chongqing had mentally prepared in advance to avoid disappointment when they met. Humph, whatever you say, she's my daughter and has nothing to do with you. Nan Gongmili coldly fixed her elegant eyes, not yielding even a bit. Her daughter Nan Gong Yao Yao was her bottom line. Even if she wanted Lu Chongqing to nurture her golden core, she wouldn't hand her daughter over to him. Jin Kingdom, places like the Five Poisons cult are ultimately not good places. Yao Yao growing up in such an environment isn't good. Lu Chongqing sighed slightly. What's wrong with the Five Poisons cult? Is it better at Yorbai Lake Mountain? Nan Gongmili was instantly annoyed. Although the demonic path had a bad reputation. For her, righteous and demonic were the same. Where's the righteousness better? Moreover, she was the heavenly spider envoy of Five Poisons cult. Her daughter had access to abundant resources and future prospects, expected to achieve core formation, even capable of nascent soul. In by Lake Mountain, this wretched man's wives and children were countless. What would he provide her daughter? All right, tell me about Yao Yao's situation? Lu Chongqing saw she was exasperated, embraced her graceful figure, smoothing her silky hair while enjoying her fragrant scent. Unsure whether it was due to her cultivation method or the effect of the profound charming body, the fragrance was delightful. Nangong Mili's fleeting emotions quickly dissipated. She realized this man was truly changeable. When he was opposing her earlier, it was as if. Now he's unexpectedly gentle. However, this gentle demeanor made Nangong Mili feel a wave of tenderness surge within. Yao Yao is doing well. She has already broken through to foundation establishment and can stand on her own. Nangong Mili spoke softly, eyes gleaming with pride. Her daughter's talent far exceeded her mother's. Her future accomplishments would surpass hers, making her deeply proud of her daughter Nangong Yao Yao. Yet thinking about being away for so long, missing her daughter, a sense of longing arose within her. Since her daughter's birth, she had always been by her side. Later, I'll accompany you to Jin Kingdom, and well visit Yao Yao. Lu Chongqing found Nangong Mili's demeanor amusing, pinching her cheek. No. She's my daughter and has nothing to do with you. Hearing this, Nangong Mili immediately lost her temper again, pushing Lu Chongqing away, speaking coldly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1336. In her eyes, this man just wants to take her daughter away. Even being so gentle to her, all calculated, is to take her daughter away. Just like in the past, he tormented her in every possible way, but when he knew she was pregnant, he suddenly acted all tender and affectionate. Thinking of this, Nangong Mili suddenly felt a surge of grievance in her heart. She's my daughter too. Lu Chongqing looked at her protective demeanor and was somewhat speechless, as if he would harm his own daughter. Seeing Nangong Mili still with a frosty expression, her phoenix eyes full of wrath, Lu Chongqing immediately pinned her underneath. This woman still owes. Lu Chongqing, you bastard. Shameless scum. Dog man. Nangong Mili cursed, feeling humiliated and angry, with rage interwoven inside her. To think she, a dignified nascent soul immortal, the heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult in Jin Kingdom, is now being treated so wantonly by Lu Chongqing. Afterwards. Lu Chongqing looked at the jelly-like, weak Nangong Mili and once again sealed her within the formless treasure wheel. Even though the Tianyuan lotus possesses a cave heaven, he hasn't fully refined it and cannot imprison her yet. Moreover, there are still many things in the Tianyuan lotus, like the infant cultivation flower and heaven-replenishing fungus. If this woman went crazy and destroyed them, he truly wouldn't have a place to cry. Dog man. Nangong Mili shouted cursing as she saw Lu Chongqing seal her within the formless domain again. But under the recent humiliation, her jade face flushed, her body soft and powerless, her voice thin as silk, as if coquettishly whimpering. Ss. Nangong Mili rubbed her burning snow-white bottom. In her heart, she thought how this man was full of tenderness a moment ago, and the next turned hostile, confronting her harshly, as if wanting her to kneel on the ground. Dog man, this vengeance! Nangong Mili gritted her teeth, trying to say harsh words. But thinking she was completely no match for Lu Chongqing, she wondered what to do if he heard and tormented her again. If this continues, she might really die. Humph, sooner or later, I will make you repay every drop of humiliation you inflicted on me. 100-fold. Nangong Mili snorted softly, thinking this in her heart. Years ago she thought of finding Lu Chongqing to exact revenge, seeing him full of regret, crying miserably, begging for mercy on his knees, licking her high heels. For some reason, thinking of this scene now, Nangong Mili's soft and powerless delicate body couldn't help but tremble uncontrollably, her breathing suddenly rapid. After imagining for a moment, Nangong Mili looked at her chi ocean core, where the yin-yang fish swam around, and a surge of indescribable emotions arose in her heart. She closed her eyes, quietly refining this yin-yang energies. Lu Chongqing looked at Nangong Mili in the formless domain, her face suddenly flushed, breathing rapid, looking joyous, and was a bit dumbfounded. What's going on? Does this woman have some hidden attribute? She's always suppressed herself in front of him, and now being sealed in the formless domain, she stops pretending? Zzz. Lu Chongqing looked at Nangong Meili in the formless domain, her jade body graceful, her figure enchanting, only wrapped in a layer of purple gauze, breathtakingly beautiful. He found it extremely stimulating, planning to try it later. After all, with Nangong Meili's strong personality, coupled with her status, it's easy to have certain thoughts. Whew! Lu Chongqing took a deep breath, exhaled, discarded the distracting thoughts, and steered the starlight plate, flying towards the direction of Bai Lake Mountain with all his strength. It's been 4 months since the news about the fall of Lu Chongqing, the ancestor of Bai Lake Mountain, in the Tianyuan secret realm. Although the Lu family denied it, stating Lu Changsheng's soul lamp was still lit, most forces have assumed this Lu ancestor has fallen. With Lu Pingon and Lu Wangshu heading to Golden Dragon Ridge to establish their might, the reputation of Bai Lake Mountain remained secure, and no one dared to challenge them openly. However, secretly, some family forces were making moves to test the situation. For example, Lu Rui led a Lu family merchant team that encountered several ambushes en route. But besides Lu Rui, the team also had Zhou Datong and a loose cultivator who recently broke through at Bai Lake Mountain. With 3 Foundation establishment cultivators holding the fort, they did not face much danger. After all, with a precedent set, even if forces wanted to challenge the Lu family, they did not dare to do so overtly. And after the news reached Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Wangshu sent over 3 second-rank puppets. Lu Xianji also ordered his son Lu Xuanyu to bring the Lu family puppet guard squad along. 3 second-rank puppets, 36 first-grade top-level puppets, can form a simple formation that even ordinary Foundation establishments would find hard to escape. This situation has directly elevated the fame of the Lu family puppets. At this moment, many forces finally realized that the main business of the Bai Lake Mountain Lu family wasn't elixir medicines or talismans, but puppets. Right now. Bai Lake Mountain. Huff huff huff. The nature's spiritual energy at Baiyun Peak was suddenly stirred, gradually forming a vortex. Someone is attempting Foundation establishment. For the Lu family disciples and cultivators, this situation was not unexpected. Since the Lu family offered to refine Foundation building elixirs and do it for free, cultivators have been continuously coming to Bai Lake Mountain for elixirs and Foundation establishment attempts. Therefore, for over a year now, several people have been attempting Foundation establishment at Bai Lake Mountain, making it unclear how many Foundation establishment cultivators are actually at Bai Lake Mountain. Sir the Defied. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. After all, when attempts at Foundation establishment are made, who knows if it's a loose cultivator or a Lu family disciple? Phew! However, several hours later, the spiritual energy vortex in the sky suddenly dissipated. Failed. Many who witnessed this scene shook their heads in sigh. Even though there were many attempts at Foundation establishment in Bai Lake Mountain over the years. But even with Foundation building elixirs, the success rate was only 30 to 50%. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1337. Inside the secret chamber of the cave mansion. Zaijin, I'm sorry, I've been useless and wasted your Foundation establishment elixir. Hong Zuanji's face was pale, and in an instant, he seemed to have aged considerably, showing expressions of shame and disappointment. He originally thought he had no fate with Foundation establishment in this life. Sarch * The Oval Fire. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But then his wife brought out a Foundation establishment elixir, giving him hope for Foundation establishment. After knowing, his father Hong Yi also resolutely offered all the family's savings to purchase Foundation establishment spiritual objects for him. Yet in the end, it was all for naught. Husband, do not blame yourself. With your aptitude, at this age, even having a Foundation establishment elixir, failure is normal. Lu Zaijin, looking at her husband's much older appearance, felt a bit heartbroken. She herself did not have a strong desire for Foundation establishment, maintaining a normal state of mind. But she was well aware that her husband was very eager for Foundation establishment. It was precisely for this reason that she took out the Foundation establishment elixir left by her brother back then to seek a chance for Foundation establishment for Hong Xuanji from her father. But ultimately, it still failed. Alas! Hong Xuanji sighed deeply, clenching his fists, unable to stop blaming himself. Husband, take care to rest well. Whether you achieve foundation establishment or not is not important. Restoring your health is crucial now. Lu Caizhen spoke to comfort him, taking out a porcelain bottle for Hong Xuanji. Although consuming the foundation establishment elixir and failing does not cause backlash or life-threatening danger, it can, depending on the situation, cause certain harm and a deficit of qi and blood. Thank you, Caizhen. Hong Xuanji received the elixir with a heavy expression and consumed it. Meanwhile, in the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. Boom boom boom, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth surged wildly. From all sides of the cave heaven, the grayish chaotic air seemed to be cleared and constantly evolved. Is this the third-rank spirit vein? Lu Miaoyun looked at the situation ahead with some surprise. She knew that the spirit vein of Mount Sumeru cave heaven was advancing to the third rank, but she did not know what a third-rank spirit vein would look like or how rich the spiritual energy would be. Ling Zixiao nodded slightly, saying, however, compared to the spirit vein's advancement, the progress of senior Mount Sumeru seems even greater. She was somewhat familiar with the situation of the Mount Sumeru Tree King. She knew that under normal circumstances, such demon plants grow very slowly and may take millennia to improve slightly. However, the Mount Sumeru Tree King can nourish itself with its inner world, accelerating growth. The original Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven was chaos, with only a simple outline. Now nurturing a third-rank spirit vein has brought the entity a significant boost. Is this a true spirit? Such growth is indeed terrifying. In the Peachwood Spirit Womb, Hong Lian was also awakened by the commotion of the Mount Sumeru Tree King, amazed at its growth speed. With just a third-rank spirit vein, it achieved such enhancements. If there were a fourth-rank spirit vein, wouldn't it directly grow from the third to the fourth rank? Boom boom boom, Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven continued to evolve, expanding the size of the cave heaven. Miaoga, Miaoyun, watch this closely. Ling Zixiao watched for a moment, then stepped out of the cave heaven to manage the family's great formation, in case the situation with the Mount Sumeru Tree King caused too much commotion. Clatter, the Tree King with its body like gold and jade, gently swayed, as if there was a Buddhist chant resonating, causing auspicious energy to surge at the top of Baiyun Peak while divine light flowed. Although the Mount Sumeru Tree King could suppress the disturbance itself, Ling Zixiao still brought the inverted five elements great formation on the mountain top to full operation, causing an invisible mist to slowly flow and surge. Outside the mountain gate of Qingyun's sect, a streak of sword light seemed to descend from the heavens, revealing a peerlessly beautiful woman with a straight nose, eyes sharp as a sword, with a cool demeanor carrying a few hints of heroism. Greetings to Qingyi True Master. Greetings to Qingyi True Master. The disciples of the Qingyun sect guarding the mountain gate, upon seeing this woman, showed expressions of surprise, delight, and reverence. Even though they were only in Qi refinement or foundation establishment, they had heard of Chu Qingjia's disappearance in the Tianyuan secret realm. Now seeing their true master return safely, they were naturally overjoyed. Chu Qingyi took out a token and walked into the sect, gazing at Kaiyun Peak in the distance, subconsciously touching the ring on her ring finger. Upon her return, her master would surely inquire about what she encountered in the Tianyuan secret realm. Even now, she didn't know how to narrate her experiences. She took a deep breath and instead of flying directly to Kaiyun Peak, walked toward it step by step. Along the way, disciples of the Qingyun sect who saw her displayed expressions of awe, respect, admiration, and reverence, bowing as they passed. Chu Qingyi looked at these people and recalled the words of Lu Chongxing. Many loose cultivators forsake their families, abandon lovers, leave friends behind, and wander the world in search of immortality, only to end up impoverished, lonely, and buried in the wilderness with no accomplishment in the Tao. It's not just the loose cultivators. Even those who join Qingyun's sect and become disciples of the immortal sect often miss the chance of foundation establishment. Even if some achieve foundation establishment, how many reach core formation? As for nascent soul, the vast Qingyun sect does not currently have a nascent soul true lord seated. The great Tao is vast. Having a few confidants to support each other through the vast years is indeed a fortunate thing. Upon seeing people who resembled couples, Chu Qingjia's mind replayed this sentence. Evidently, Lu Changsheng's words and actions had an effect. Her originally pure and flawless sword heart had been stained with an indelible speck of dust. Alas! Chu Qingyi sighed softly and finally transformed into a beam of sword light, suddenly arriving at the top of Kaiyun Peak. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1338. Qingyi pays her respects to Master. Chu Qingyi arrived in front of Kaiyun Hall and bowed. A moment later, the grand doors of the palace opened with a rumble. A noble woman with moth-like eyebrows and a celestial bearing, wearing a magnificent colorful palace gown, stepped out. Qingyi, you have returned. Upon seeing Chu Qingyi before her, Yun Wanshang's elegant and beautiful face showed a comforting smile. Just by observing her disciple's essence, she could tell that this journey had yielded significant fortune. However, the next moment, her brow slightly furrowed. From her disciple Chu Qingyi, she sensed a faint yet familiar aura. This aura was very similar to the magic aura of Lu Chongqing from back then, resembling the yin-yang energies. This. Yun Wanshang's heart slightly sank as a premonition of doom welled up. She realized that the thing she feared most had happened. Master, your disciple has worried you these days. Chu Qingyi spoke up. Come inside first. Earlier, I saw your soul lamp flickering, so I asked Shenjian True Monarch to calculate your situation. He said that blessings and misfortunes are intertwined. It seems now that you have had quite a fortuitous encounter. Yun Wanshang took a deep breath to calm her emotions, speaking gently. Chu Qingyi's heart trembled upon hearing this. The opportunities she encountered on this trip were more than significant. Originally, she was just a half-step golden core, but she condensed into a second-grade golden core. She's just half a step away from advancing to a first-grade immortal golden core. Moreover, she obtained a top-level sword Dao inheritance, 7 luminaries great freedom sword scripture. Thinking of these things, Chu Qingyi's mind was in turmoil, and the figure of Lu Chongqing appeared in her mind. She calmed her mental spirit, walked into the hall, and softly said, In the secret realm, your disciple used secret art supernatural powers, which led to severe injuries and damaged my true elixir. But through a stroke of fortune, I dissolved the true elixir and formed a new core, achieving a second-grade golden core. Chu Qingyi spoke as such. She was raised from a young age by her master Yun Wanshang and would never deceive her. Moreover, the matter of condensing a superior-grade golden core was something that, even if master couldn't see now, she would sense something amiss later. Condensed a second-grade golden core? Yun Wanshang's expression was of surprise. It's important to know that whether it is shattered true elixir, dissolving true elixir, or condensing a second-grade golden core, all are astonishing occurrences. And these things appeared all at once on her disciple. Especially since her disciple was only a half-step golden core, transforming the core is nearly impossible. Under severe injury to transform the core, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say it's a miracle. But yet, her disciple not only successfully transformed the core but went further to condense a second-grade golden core. No wonder Shenjian True Monarch said that after great misfortune comes great fortune. Yun Wanshang let out a long breath, feeling emotional. Although it was a happy and celebratory matter, the familiar aura on her disciple, however, stopped her from feeling entirely at ease. Because the more serious the matter is, the more intense the foreboding grows in her heart. I heard you were saved by a nascent soul cultivator? Yun Wanshang's eyes were clear and sometimes gentle like water, sometimes sharp like a sword, as if able to see through a person. Her disciple, although gifted with a bright sword heart, never hid anything from her. So she could clearly see the heaviness behind Chu Qingyi's calm exterior. Chu Qingyi nodded and said, Indeed, it was this person who saved me, allowing me to condense the second-grade golden core. Although Lu Chongqing said their matter could be shared with her master. Yet, she felt such things were too startling and chose to keep it a secret for him. Yun Wanshang sighed in her heart, shaking her head slightly. Her disciple had grown up, beginning to keep things from her master. She picked up the teapot beside her and filled a cup. Then flicked her finger, the teacup settled steadily in front of Chu Qingyi, and poured herself a cup, speaking softly. Your heart is troubled. Having such a miraculous opportunity is certainly good, and master is pleased, but now your heart is heavy, clearly troubled by something. Yun Wanshang looked at her disciple, saying in a calm manner, although she had a rough guess about the matter between them. Still, she wanted to clear it up and see if there was a resolution. Master! Chu Qingjia's body trembled when her thoughts were guessed, biting her lip, not knowing how to relate her experiences. Seeing her disciple in such a state, Yun Wansheng immediately felt a surge of anger. It's known that Chu Qingyi was born with a sword heart. Since beginning cultivation, her dedication to the sword Dao excelled any external pursuit, never disturbed by external matters and emotions. It was precisely because of this, Chu Qingjia's path of cultivation was smooth, breaking through to the nascent soul at a young age. But now, her disciple was clearly troubled by external matters, her sword heart clouded. Thinking of her disciple Xiaofan already harmed by Lu Chongxing, her Dao heart was no longer intact. And now the disciple she raised painstakingly was also harmed by this person. With her sword heart clouded, Yun Wansheng was filled with rage, wishing to strike this person with a sword. This sword cultivator, is it Lu Chongxing? Yun Wansheng's expression was stern and noble, asking coldly, Master, how did you know? Chu Qingyi was taken aback, somewhat surprised. She hadn't expected her master to know this sword cultivator was Lu Chongxing. How could this be? Could it be that the master already knew about this person, which is why Lu Chongxing said their matters could be told to her master? It was really him. Yun Wansheng's expression was solemn. Even though she had earlier suspicions, getting confirmation still came with immense surprise. After all, more than 50 years ago, this little rogue was only at the 4th level of energy refinement. And now, over 50 years later, he has broken through to core formation. This growth speed is truly astonishing. Not to mention that he is just a loose cultivator, a clan cultivator. Search * the novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Even if one looks across Qing Yun's sect or the entire Jiang country cultivation realm, it is truly phenomenal, breaking Jiang country's millennium records. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1339. Has that scoundrel returned? Yun Wansheng asked coldly, wishing she could march to Bai Lake Mountain right now, and give Lu Chongxing 2 sword strikes to vent her anger. For the past few months, she had been worried about her disciple Chu Qingyi and the situation with the other party. Now the disciple had returned. But the situation she dreaded the most had also arisen. He should be back soon, right? Chu Qingyi said uncertainly. However, seeing her master's expression was somewhat off, she hurriedly added, Master, this whole matter was thanks to Lu Chongxing, otherwise I fear I wouldn't have been able to see you again. Upon hearing her disciple speak up for this person, Yun Wansheng became even more annoyed, almost crushing the teacup in her hand to powder. However, she was not an unreasonable person, and suppressed her anger to inquire, Tell me the details of what happened between you two. Yes, master. Chu Qingyi pursed her lips and began recounting the encounter in the secret realm, how Lu Chongxing saved her, leading her into the Tianyuan Lotus, where she met the Tianyuan true monarch. Bang! When Yun Wansheng heard about the Sun-Moon Samsara technique, used for healing, the teacup in her hand shattered with a bang, crushed into powder. A formidable magic aura, as vast as an abyss and as heavy as a mountain, permeated and swept through the grand hall, making the air seem to solidify. Master, Lu Daoist is not to blame for this. Seeing this scene, Chu Qingyi naturally knew her master was very angry and quickly spoke up to explain for Lu Chongxing. I naturally know. Yun Wansheng looked at her disciple with a cold expression, feeling troubled and restless. At this moment, she truly didn't know what to say. Just a while ago, she held some hope that the entanglement between them wasn't deep. But in the end, they both knew each other thoroughly. Though hearing the entire process, while her heart was filled with anger and frustration, she also felt somewhat grateful. Grateful that calling Lu Chongxing to the Tianyuan secret realm allowed Chu Qingyi to gain such an opportunity. Otherwise, with such unexpected events occurring in the Tianyuan secret realm, even if Chu Qingyi survived, her core formation might have shattered, rendering her great Dao hopeless in this life. But thinking about this scoundrel, who not only harmed her disciple Xiaofan but also her disciple Chu Qingyi, made her exceptionally furious, wanting to beat up the other party to vent. All considered, all 3 of them were involved with this scoundrel. No, that's not right. She had always held the advantage, so how could she be harmed by this little scoundrel? Then Lu Daoist used the Sun-Moon Samsara technique and a secret technique to heal me, and use the remaining nascent soul origin and treasure medicine from the Tianyuan True Monarch to repair my physical body and meridians, condensing a golden core. Chu Qingyi only finished explaining everything after seeing her master had calmed down. She didn't mention the subsequent trip to the Great Dream Immortal City. Only said that after breaking through to core formation and stabilizing her realm, she hurried back. That little scoundrel indeed has great fortune, for despite such upheavals in the Tianyuan secret realm, where even a nascent soul true lord almost perished, the greatest opportunity fell into his hands. Yun Wanshang took a deep breath, calming her emotions with a grave expression. When the decision was made to open the Tianyuan secret realm back then, it had already been emptied, with only the inheritance stele remaining. The reason for not moving the inheritance stele was partly because it supported the secret realm. Another reason was the intention to study it after the legacy within was exhausted. Unexpectedly, under the inheritance stele, the physical body of the Tianyuan True Monarch was suppressed, along with his Tianyuan Lotus. You must know, back then Tianyuan True Monarch was able to dominate the southern wilderness greatly due to this Tianyuan Lotus, which was considered a top-level treasure. Moreover, it contained the inheritance of the Tianyuan True Monarch. However, hearing that Lu Chongqing requested the Tianyuan True Monarch's help to rescue Chu Qingyi, not hesitating to expend his life origin and using the nascent soul origin of the Tianyuan True Monarch for her benefit, helping her condense a golden core, Yun Wanshang sighed in her heart. She also understood why her disciple felt that way. After all, Chu Qingyi is only human, not a sword, and has emotions and desires. Having gone through such events, how could she not be even slightly moved, remaining as detached as before, untainted by worldly matters? Moreover, she had raised Chu Qingyi since young, knowing her disciple likely had hidden some words. Sir the Defier. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It was obvious that this scoundrel had used sweet words to deceive her disciple. Thinking of this, a surge of anger boiled within Yun Wanshang. Years ago he deceived her, then later deceived her disciple Xiaofan, and now he deceives her disciple Chu Qingyi. Does he really think her lineage is that easy to bully? Have you fallen for him? Yun Wanshang took a deep breath and asked. To be honest, she didn't even know how to handle this situation now. In terms of cultivation, she could offer guidance. But in terms of emotions, how could she guide anyone? She herself was still entangled. So thinking if it's just sprouting feelings, she should quickly nip it in the bud. Otherwise, the three of them in her lineage. Thinking about it, Yun Wanshang felt anger rise again, and wondered why she hadn't split that little scoundrel in two with a sword back in the day. Master, I don't know. Chu Qingyi shook her head and said. She had thought about this question many times on her way back, but there was no answer. Your heart is disturbed. Once you calm down, the answer will become clear. Yun Wanshang said, if you cannot calm down now, then take a trip to the Jin Kingdom. I heard the Supreme Elder of the Yiming Ghost sect is preparing to break through to nascent soul. You should go and understand the situation, and also check if there are any movements from the Five Poisons cult and Heavenly Corpse sect to hone your sword heart. When your heart is as calm as still water, without any distractions, you will have your answer. Yun Wanshang sighed softly. Based on her understanding of Lu Chongqing, he would definitely come back to entangle with Chu Qingyi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1340. But in this situation between the two of them, she wants to interfere, but she doesn't know how to do so. Moreover, both of them have already reached core formation. They're not children anymore. If there really is affection, as their master, it wouldn't be good to separate them. So she thought of giving her disciple some tasks to do. On one hand, it would avoid meeting Lu Chongqing. On the other hand, if she's busy with tasks, she won't be troubled by matters of the heart. If it's just the sprouting of feelings in her heart, this could help fade and forget them. Yes, master. Upon hearing this, Chu Qingyi gently tightened her red lips and nodded in agreement. But after speaking she said, Master, can you help to cover up some things about Lu Chongqing? Besides, I owe him a favor. On this trip to the Jin Kingdom, if he encounters trouble, I hope Master can help him a bit for my sake. She knew Lu Chongqing's situation was too extraordinary. If it were to spread, it might attract many to covet his opportunity and secrets like the Tianyuan secret realm did. Even if Lu Chongqing is not afraid, he still has a family. What else is good about this man aside from his looks, that makes you speak for him? Yun Wansheng, upon hearing this, immediately said unhappily. This foolish disciple of hers had her sword heart toyed with and now plans to go out, showing no concern for her master or inquiring about the sect or the secret realm, but instead worrying about this thief. Moreover, with his thick skin, if he really encounters trouble, had probably rushed to the Qing Yun sect at the first opportunity. Chu Qingyi paused, feeling a strange sensation in her heart. It seemed like her master had a significant opinion on Lu Chongqing. The master gave the Sun-Moon Samsara technique to him and her junior sister and even approved of their matters. She should be quite optimistic about him, shouldn't she? However, thinking about his relationship with her junior sister, she sighed inwardly and whispered, "After all, he saved my life. Such a kindness, how could I be ungrateful? If he gets in trouble because of me, I wouldn't be at ease either." Chu Qingyi said this. "All right, I understand. You don't have to worry about these matters. Your master will see to it." Yun Wansheng said, feeling extremely irritated. Right now, just hearing about Lu Chongqing was annoying to her. Especially with this situation, how would she explain if Xiu found out? "Thank you, master." Sar the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Chu Qingyi also noticed her master's current distress, approached her to massage her shoulders, and spoke softly. Later, go and see the sect leader. Regarding the matters of the Tianyuan secret realm and the superior grade golden core, there's no need to explain much. Just say you acquired some opportunities. Yun Wansheng's expression softened a bit, and she said to her disciple, "As for Lu Chongqing, just say he's an old friend you met during a training session outside a few years ago. No need to explain too much." As nascent soul immortals of the Qing Yun sect, they naturally don't need to account for everything while gaining opportunities outside. Revealing a superior grade golden core might attract more resources. But such news doesn't need to be released immediately. Otherwise, it could easily draw unnecessary troubles, like being noticed by cultivators from enemy nations. Okay. After the master and disciple talked for a while, Yun Wansheng let Chu Qingyi go to rest. Alone in the vast hall for a long time, she let out a deep sigh and sent a transmitted message to Xiaoxia. "Xiyu, come see me." Finally back. Lu Chongqing, clad in a mystic robe, his entire being flowing with an invisible luster, looked down at the familiar Bai Lake mountain, a faint smile appearing on his face. He didn't return home with great fanfare. Instead, he entered Bai Lake mountain silently and unnoticed. After all, Chu Qingyi was also returning around this time. If he returned at the same time as her, it might draw attention from others. It would be better to first check the situation at home. Is it, Lord has returned? At Bai Yun Peak, the Lu family mansion, Ling Zixiao sensed something. A moment later, she heard Lu Chengsheng's voice transmission. "The cave heaven spirit vein has finally advanced to the 3rd rank?" Just as Lu Chongqing entered the Mount Sumeru cave heaven, he felt a surge of pure and dense nature spiritual energy. The previously 1 or 2 li expanse had expanded to nearly 5 li in all directions. "Chongqing, you're back." In Chongqing Hall, Lu Miaoge, dressed in a plain white dress, with a graceful demeanor like water, walked out, looking at Lu Chongqing with a face full of joy. Even though they knew Lu Chongqing was all right, not seeing him return for so long still caused some concern. "Sister Miaoge, I'm sorry to make you worry." Lu Chongqing immediately stepped forward, embraced his wife, and held her in his arms, breathing in her fragrant scent and speaking softly. "Brother." At this moment, with smiling faces, Bai Ling and Binger came out from Chongqing Hall and called out happily, hugging Lu Chongqing. "Linger, Binger." Lu Chongqing embraced the 2 women as well. It's been almost a year since Bai Ling got pregnant. However, there didn't seem to be any signs of giving birth. Lu Chongqing didn't mind it too much. After all, the longer the pregnancy, the better the child's talent. They had taken the yin-yang integration spirit pill. It would be a problem if the child wasn't carried for 2 to 3 years. Before long, Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, and Chu Zhenjun also came to the Mount Sumeru cave heaven, all looking at Lu Chongqing with faces full of joy. Why didn't Lord bring a sister back this time? Seeing Lu Chongqing, Ling Zixiao looked around and said somewhat surprised. Lu Chongqing immediately held his wife's tender hand and said with a serious face, "What do you take me for? I just happened to be delayed by some matters, so I'm returning now. Is that so? I heard from Taoist Xiao that a nascent soul cultivator appeared in the Tianyuan secret realm, rescuing the gravely injured fairy Qingyi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1341. Ling Zixiao, donned in a lake blue palace dress, her jet black hair styled in a cloud-like bun, said with a half smile, I thought my lord was busy healing Qingyi, true man. Hee hee. Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjin heard this and immediately covered their mouths, laughing. Lu Miaohuan looked at her husband with disdain, thinking he always had to flirt whenever he went out. Ahem, ahem. Lu Chongqing heard this, didn't argue, coughed lightly twice, and said, This Qingyi true man is, after all, Shi Yu's senior sister. How could I sit back and do nothing? After speaking, he immediately changed the topic. Zixiao, how have things been at home lately? Shortly after the Tianyuan secret realm ended, news spread that you had fallen in the secret realm. Wang Shu and Pingon went to Golden Dragon Ridge to assert dominance and deter others. And the Sima family took the opportunity to test and provoke, so Wang Shu and Ling Xiao went to Misty Rain Market to oversee, subduing an elder from the Sima family. The merchant caravans encountered some trouble but slowed down the pace. With the household puppets, the situation is fairly stable at the moment. As for Hemming Mountain, compensated by the Sima family, our home currently lacks the resources to manage it, and no other forces dare to manage and operate it in our stead, so it has to be left idle for now. The group sat down in a small pavilion nearby, and Lu Miaoyun spoke out, recounting the happenings at home for Lu Chongqing. Not bad, Wang Shu and the others have grown up. Listening to the challenges the family faced in recent times, which were all orderly resolved by his children, Lu Chongqing felt very gratified. Especially the daughter, who usually was playful and lazy. Her diligent and active performance during these times made Lu Chongqing, the old father, immensely pleased. In his memory, this daughter was still the little girl who would always come to him, being cutesy and begging playfully. Unknowingly, she had already become capable of handling things on her own. 2 months ago, Yun Lu returned, having broken through to foundation establishment, whereas Xing Yue failed to establish her foundation. Fortunately, after taking the foundation establishment elixir, she did not harm her fundamentals. Xuanji also attempted foundation establishment a month ago and failed. He might need 2 to 3 years to recover. Lu Miaoyun continued speaking. Lu Chongqing nodded slightly, already aware of his son Lu Yunla's foundation establishment situation. He just didn't know about his daughter Lu Xingyu's failed foundation establishment. But this was normal too. Lu Xingyue had only a 6th grade spiritual root and had struggled even to cultivate the medical king's treasure Ding scripture, and her nature was just average. Hong Xuanji was similar. Although his nature and abilities were decent, he still only had a 7th grade spiritual root. On the contrary, his son Lu Yunlu, with a 6th grade spiritual root, succeeded in foundation establishment at once, indicating his overall capabilities were still quite good. As for Xing Yue, let her take a good rest, and return when it's time. Lu Chongqing contemplated and said. His daughter had a talent for spirit plants, having already advanced to the 2nd rank, and as Xia Zizhu's daughter, Lu Chongqing was willing to give her a bit more support and another chance. Okay. Lu Miaoyun nodded in agreement. They also inclined to give Lu Xingyue another opportunity. Now that the spirit vein in Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven has advanced to the 3rd rank, Yuner, organize the household situation later. Lu Chongqing continued, telling Lu Miaoyun to arrange for the foundation establishment of the household's 9th level energy refinement concubines. Sar the Oval Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Currently, directly taking concubines to foundation establishment was somewhat troublesome. Moreover, most came for the benefits, and short-term trust was difficult, requiring a bit of caution. Instead, it's better to consolidate the household's loyalty and cultivate concubines with foundation establishment talent to the foundation establishment stage. Now with the Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven spirit vein advancing to the 3rd rank, even with more foundation establishments in the household, it could be supported without concerns over insufficient spiritual energy. All right, my lord. Lu Miaoyun had long known that her lord had such plans. However, they had been delayed due to the household spirit vein being unable to support so many foundation establishment cultivators. After chatting with his wives and concubines for a while, Lu Chongqing, knowing there were no urgent or major matters at home, led the women into the Chongqing Hall. Damn man, damn bastard man. In the formless domain, Nangong Meili couldn't help but curse after observing outside with the mind goo. She couldn't comprehend how this bastard man broke through to core formation. Previously being suppressed in the formless domain, she saw Lu Chongqing duel cultivating with Chu Qingyi. Then Chu Qingyi left, and the man kept tormenting her. Now observing outside, he's doing the same thing again. Are you an animal? Nangong Meili really wanted to ask this. At this moment, she seemed to know how Lu Chongqing had so many children. Doing it every day, how could there be few children? Could this bastard have such intentions for me too? Nangong Meili suddenly felt a bit scared, shivering. Though with her cultivation, she could completely refine or expel him. But who knows if this man has any other means? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1342. In the Chongqing Hall, Lu Chongqing poured out his full affection to his beloved wives. After numerous battles and many hardships, the passionate and enchanting moments were indescribable. Afterward. This time, your husband has obtained a not insignificant gain in the Tianyuan secret realm. Lu Chongqing shared with the ladies his experiences and gains from the trip. However, seeing Nangong Meili breaking free from part of the seal and cursing him in the formless domain, Lu Chongqing immediately instructed Mount Sumeru to shield her divine sense goo. Some family matters are still inconvenient for Nangong Meili to know. Chongqing, it's better to avoid such secret realms in the future. They're too dangerous. Lu Miaoge listened to these words and did not display much joy on her face. She knew well the dangers of secret realms. Just like this Tianyuan secret realm trip, many family ancestors died. I know. Lu Changsheng's heart warmed, responding seriously. Then he took out the Treasure Emperor Lotus and said, Yuner, Zhenjin, Huan, this time I learned something. If the heavenly origin precious lotus advances to 4th rank, the Treasure Emperor Lotus, it may possibly form a cave heaven. Though this cave heaven is not as good as Mount Sumeru cave heaven, there's no problem with transplanting spirit plants. After I refine it, I will give it a try. If possible, then your husband can take you all out. This 4th rank supreme treasure, Treasure Emperor Lotus, Lu Chongqing not only used for the second Dantian but also thought of a former assumption. Taking his wife's lifespan spiritual plant out with the cave heaven treasure. Though it's very inconvenient, at least they wouldn't be confined at home all the time. Thank you, husband. Lu Miaoyun and Lu Miaohuan, looking lazy and with beads of sweat, felt a tad happy upon hearing this. Chu Zhenjin curiously sized up the sparkling jade-like lotus pedestal and exclaimed, Is this the Treasure Emperor Lotus? It looks pretty similar to the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus. Saw the novel, F.I.R. at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. There's quite a difference. Lu Chongqing smiled and then explained the cultivation technique inheritance and ancient texts found within the Treasure Emperor Lotus. This 100 arts of cultivation inheritance not only benefits Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, Li Xingrua, and others, but it also greatly helps him. He awakened the Tai divine soul due to his Tai soul body. Currently, he has beginner knowledge in alchemy, artifact refining, talisman making, puppetry, and has a solid foundation, making it possible to go further if he chooses to quietly study. Simultaneously, Lu Chongqing thought about the Tianyuan scripture, from the Tianyuan True Monarch, planning to study it later and see if any of his children at home might be suitable. After all, having promised the Tianyuan True Monarch to find a successor, Lu Ancestor naturally intends to fulfill, even exceed, that promise. Zixiao, Sister Miaoge, you both should organize these cultivation technique inheritances and ancient texts when the time comes. Lu Chongqing chatted briefly with his wives and then rested together. The next day, Lu Chongqing prepared to enter the Treasure Emperor Lotus to collect the items inside. Suddenly, the Treasure Emperor Lotus surged with a ripple, seemingly repulsed by Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. What's happening? Cave Heaven repulsion. Lu Chongqing frowned slightly, realizing the situation. His divine sense could enter the Treasure Emperor Lotus, but he couldn't open it or enter it. Mount Sumeru. Lu Chongqing inquired Mount Sumeru. The latter immediately indicated that the two cave heaven forces were repulsed, and forcibly opening them might lead to instability in the cave heaven. Unless he advances further to 4th rank, allowing accommodation of such small cave heaven like the Treasure Emperor Lotus. I see. Lu Chongqing understood the reasoning, akin to storage bags not being able to contain storage bags. Chongqing, what's wrong? At this moment, Lu Miaoge noticed Lu Changsheng's actions and asked. Lu Chongqing laughed and explained the situation, then spent some time with the ladies before leaving the Chongqing Hall. System, extract. Now that the cave heaven spirit vein had advanced to 3rd rank, Lu Chongqing naturally prepared to plant the 5-element spirit fruit tree from his system space. Even though the 3rd rank spirit vein also struggles to sustain such 4th rank spirit plant. But he wouldn't let the 5-element spirit fruit tree grow on its own, instead directly using the myriad spirits bottle for accelerated maturation. Whoa! Instantly, an oddly shaped, spiritually rich, vividly colored ancient tree appeared. Its trunk is tall and sturdy, covered with a dense network of textures, emitting a sense of some Earth's principles. The tree's leaves gleam with varied hues, some shimmering with golden light, sharp and firm, some blazing like flames intensely, some crystal clear and azure, dazzling, some vibrant green, full of life, some in mysterious yellow, primitive and solid. But upon closer examination, you'll see the 5-colored leaves intricately interwoven, the sheen and texture flowing, forming a mystical trajectory, seemingly alternating the 5 elements. Such 4th rank spirit plant compared to 3rd rank spirit plant is extraordinary beyond comparison. Lu Chongqing sighed inwardly. This 5-element spirit fruit tree, even before bearing fruit, emitted a refreshing aroma, refreshing the mind, aiding in awakening. If someone cultivating the 5 elements technique consistently practices near the spirit fruit tree, it would likely yield twice the results with half the effort. Husband, what kind of tree is this, so wondrous? Chu Zhenjin, Lu Miaohuan, and other ladies gazed in astonishment at the spirit fruit tree before them. It's hard to imagine an ancient tree appearing so peculiar. Ling Zixiao instantly recognized what kind of tree it was and exclaimed in surprise. Is this the 5-element spirit fruit tree? That's correct. This tree is named the 5-element spirit fruit tree. Lu Chongqing cheerfully introduced. This tree bears fruit every 300 years and matures at 500 years. Its fruits known as golden core fruits, capable of increasing the core formation probability by 30% and aiding the condensation of superior grade gold core. With the myriad spirits bottle, the family can regularly keep several 5-element spirit fruits, making Sister Miaoge, Zi Xiao, Little Linger's future core formation easier. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1343. After finishing, he looked at Lu Miaoyun, Chu Zhenjin, and Lu Miaohuan, smiling. Yuner, Zhenjin, Huan, when you reach core formation in the future, you can also try a piece. It might help you too. Although the heavenly longevity technique they practiced theoretically didn't require external aids. But giving a piece to the wives to try was still possible. Thank you, husband. Thank you, brother. The women were very moved, especially Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao. The two of them had a fair hope of breaking through to core formation. But regarding this realm, they still lacked confidence. If there were top-level spiritual objects like 5-element spirit fruit as assistants, there would be a greater chance to break through core formation in the future. If they could collect certain core formation spiritual objects and coagulation crystal elixir, they might even hope to achieve superior grade gold core. Brother, what about me? Binger, who was nestled in Lu Changsheng's arms and sniffing his scent, suddenly spoke. She also started calling him brother along with Bai Ling. You have it too. Lu Chongqing rubbed the girl's head, smiling indulgently. Binger seemed not to need cultivation. Just sleeping continuously could slowly enhance her. However, the home spirit vein environment was insufficient, which slowed Binger's growth. Zhenjin, later, used the myriad spirits heaven dew from the myriad spirits bottle to cultivate the 5-element spirit fruit tree. Lu Chongqing said to his wife. Previously, most of the myriad spirits heaven dew was used to cultivate the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus, later for the Tianyuan Lotus and Golden Armor Bean Mother. Okay. Chu Zhenjin nodded. Every wife at home would manage something. The myriad spirits bottle was handed to Chu Zhenjin by Lu Chongqing. After chatting with the women for a while, Lu Chongqing took them out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, entering the Tianyuan Lotus. They didn't feel much towards the Tianyuan Lotus, this little cave, after staying for a long time in Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, only that the spiritual energy inside was quite dense. Lu Chongqing, taking Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao, toured the study before bringing Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and Lu Miaohuan to the Jade Field. Signal the 3 women to take action. Protect the 3 medicinal treasures during the transplant. Ha! A gourd? After uprooting the infant cultivation flower and heaven-replenishing fungus, Lu Chongqing saw a gourd-like fruit under the messy vines with purple-golden luster flowing. The fruit was entirely deep purple with a hint of golden luster, about the size of an adult's palm. Sar the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. What kind of gourd is this? Lu Chongqing scrutinized it for a while, unsure of its origin. Then, using great magical power, he took the whole piece of jade field soil, left the Tianyuan Lotus with the 3 women, and returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Hong Lian, do you recognize this gourd? Lu Chongqing came to the Peachwood Spirit Womb, asking Hong Lian. Sir, this should not be a gourd. If I'm not mistaken, it is a fruit of the mysterious dark vine, called mysterious dark fruit. But I remember mysterious dark fruit doesn't look like this. This one might have undergone some mutation. Hong Lian pondered for a moment before speaking. All right. Lu Chongqing felt a bit disappointed. He thought it was a gourd embryo to craft his own life-bound magic treasure. The Yin-Yang creation gourd. What effects does this mysterious dark fruit have? Lu Chongqing continued to ask. The mysterious dark fruit can bring the dead back to life, regrow flesh on bones. Even if a nascent soul cultivator is seriously injured, it can barely preserve their vitality, keep the physical body from decaying, and is one of the main ingredients for refining profound dark elixir. Profound dark elixir is quite beneficial to ghost cultivators, Yin corpses, or those practicing demonic cultivation techniques in this aspect. Hong Lian slowly introduced the effects of the mysterious dark fruit. After hearing that it wasn't the gourd he was expecting, Lu Chongqing lost interest. He decided to keep the mysterious dark vine as it is for now, to be used as a life-saving treasure medicine in the future. Lord, the ancient manuscripts of this Tianyuan true monarch are truly extensive. Moments later, Ling Zixiao and Lu Miaoge returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, happily sharing the manuscript inheritance with him. Especially Ling Zixiao. Her formation path had already reached the 3rd rank, but she lacked further inheritance. Now having obtained the Heavenly Star Formation Path True Solution, this 4th rank formation inheritance, she could make progress in Formation Path once again. Hee hee Zixiao, you won't be bored in the coming days. Lu Chongqing laughed, knowing she had always wanted 4th rank formation inheritance. Not to mention 4th rank formation inheritance. Even 3rd rank formation inheritance was extremely rare on the market. Congratulations to Sister Ling for advancing in formation again. Lu Miaoyun laughed and congratulated. She knew Ling Zixiao had extraordinary talent in formations, already a 3rd rank array master. With such an inheritance, she would surely improve further. It's still early. Ling Zixiao, with her charming appearance, elegant and dignified, shook her head with a smile. Though her formation path reached the 3rd rank, it lacked practice. Moreover, her cultivation level was only at Foundation Establishment 4th layer, making many 3rd rank formations challenging to attempt. It's just a matter of time. Lu Chongqing said with a smile. Knowing there's nothing urgent at home, Lu Chongqing wasn't in a hurry to appear, checking which family forces targeted his family. Also taking this opportunity to temper the children at home. Otherwise, relying solely on him as the father for support, it would be too hard to break through into core formation in the future. Lu Chongqing walked out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven to visit other concubines. At this time in the formless domain, Nan Gongmili felt the resistance vanish and immediately shouted, Lu Chongqing, how long do you plan to keep me locked up? I also want to release Meili, but your temperament is really worrying to me. Once I'm done and head to Jin Kingdom, I'll let you out. Lu Chongqing paused his steps and said, Lu Chongqing, you bastard. Nan Gongmili immediately cursed, feeling a bit panicked, fearing Lu Chongqing would go to the 5 Poisons cult to fight her for their daughter. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1344. Thinking about whether or not to find an opportunity to escape. Meili, it has been a hardship for you during this time. Lu Chongqing said warmly. Then, with a slight movement of his mental spirit, the formless treasure wheel spun, unleashing an unseen force, making it difficult for Nangong Meili to see the outside situation. After finishing, Lu Chongqing went to the Lu family mansion to see his 2 children born some days ago. Perhaps he had broken through to core formation, the probability of giving birth to offspring with spiritual roots had increased, and both children had spiritual roots. It's just that the spiritual roots were quite average. One had a 5th grade spiritual root, the other a 6th grade spiritual root. While Lu Chongqing was accompanying his wife and concubine, he heard the news that Xiaofan had come. Xia has come? Lu Chongqing's heart slightly paused. He had Xiaofan come to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Chongqing, you're back. Seeing Lu Chongqing, Xiaofan's cold and peerlessly beautiful face immediately showed a gentle and joyful expression. During these days, she had also been worried about Lu Chongqing's situation. Xia, I've made you worry. Lu Chongqing stepped forward, held her hand, and spoke softly. Immediately, Xiaofan expressed that her master wanted him to go to Qingyun's sect after returning. Kaiyun True Immortal wants me to go to Qingyun's sect? Hearing this, Lu Chongqing's expression couldn't help but freeze slightly. Previously, he had realized that after Chu Qingyi returned, Yun Wansheng might suspect and guess his situation. Now, only 3 days after he returned, Xiaofan came, indicating that Yun Wansheng was very likely aware of his matters with Chu Qingyi. Although he had previously faced Chu Qingyi and firmly and seriously indicated he would propose to Kaiyun True Immortal, when it came to this point, he still felt a bit uneasy. It wasn't fear of what Kaiyun True Immortal might do to him, just pure guilt. Just like when he wanted to marry Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan in his early years, he faced Lu Yuanding with a guilty conscience, and ultimately asked the Lu family ancestor to mediate the marriage. Now he not only had relationships with Xiaofan and Chu Qingyi, but also with Kaiyun True Immortal. Even Lu Chongqing himself felt a bit of a headache. All right, it'll go over later. Lu Chongqing took a deep breath, nodded, and said, such matters, whether hiding or confronting, must be faced sooner or later. Besides, he should also find an opportunity to go to Qingyun's sect to see Chu Qingyi. Chongqing, you and senior sister. At this moment, Xiaofan looked at Lu Chongqing, with a hint of suspicion and scrutiny in her beautiful eyes. Although the master hadn't said much, she sensed something unusual. Moreover, she understood Lu Chongqing's nature after all these years. Being with her senior sister for so long, having shared life and death together, she found it hard to believe there was no entanglement at all. This matter, Xiaofan would know sooner or later, and Lu Chongqing didn't want to deceive her. He sighed and said, alas, it's all the work of fate. At that time when I saw that Qingyi True Master was critically injured, at the brink of life and death, how could I stand by and do nothing? But after I saved Qingyi True Master, I discovered her injuries were extremely severe, with all her meridians and bones shattered, and even her true elixir damaged. In this situation, medicinal stones were of no use. Even if life was barely sustained, she would be reduced to a cripple. However, at this time, a voice said that she could be saved. I hesitated for a moment, half believing and half doubting, and went to the source of the voice. Only to find out that Tianyuan True Monarch was no good person, and the method to save her was by using the Sun-Moon Samsara technique. I was unwilling to do so, but seeing Qingyi True Master's life in jeopardy, I ultimately had no choice. Saying this, Lu Chongqing sighed deeply once more and said with a helpless expression. Xiaofan, seeing Lu Chongqing's sighing and helpless expression, said angrily, I think you're getting benefits and pretending otherwise. I don't believe you have no feelings for senior sister. Sar the Novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Xia. Such words are mistaken. Lu Chongqing immediately embraced his gentle wife's slender waist, holding her in his arms, and said, everyone has a love for beauty. With a woman like Qingyi True Master, whether in looks or talent, she is unmatched. To say I have no thoughts and no heartache would be self-deception. You wouldn't believe it either, Xia. But as she is Xia's senior sister, I would naturally maintain a distance, but alas, fate played its tricks. Lu Chongqing said helplessly, indicating that his heart was clear, and the sun and moon could witness it. Humph. Upon hearing this, Xiaofan was somewhat annoyed and punched her husband's chest with a fist, feeling he was acting modest despite having gained an advantage. However, after understanding the situation, she could accept it. Her senior sister's situation at the time was perilous. Losing oneself was better than falling. Then, she worriedly said, "If Master summoned you, doesn't that mean she knows about you and senior sister?" Although her master was a person of fairness and reason, she seemed to have an opinion about Lu Chongqing. Now that Lu Chongqing was involved with her senior sister, even if he saved her, Master might still be upset? At this moment, Xiaofan didn't quite know what to say. As a hall master of the enforcement hall, she is surely a fair and just person, likely won't do anything. Lu Chongqing felt warm in his heart, holding Xiaofan's hand, and comforted her aloud. I'll go with you when the time comes," Xiaofan said softly. Thinking that Lu Chongqing had not only saved senior sister but had also saved Master in the past, Master would likely not do anything severe, just summon Lu Chongqing to ask some questions. But thinking of Lu Chongqing saving her master, her heart turned slightly strange, and she suddenly asked, "Chongqing, do you usually have any contact with Master?" Lu Chongqing's heart skipped, but his face remained unchanged as he said, "Apart from the Sima family affair, I haven't been able to meet the true man. Although I have a true man token, I wouldn't dare disturb without reason." For matters regarding Chu Qingyi, he dared to tell Xiaofan. But as for matters concerning Yun Wanshang, he didn't quite know how to start. Although regarding Yun Wanshang, he was the victim, but considering that the three of them as master and disciples all, Lu Chongqing felt unjustified for some unknown reason. Xiaofan nodded gently. Her master had been in closed-door cultivation for years. Indeed wouldn't have any contact with Lu Chongqing. "Xia, now that Qingyi true master has just returned, if I also immediately return, it would easily draw attention, so there's no rush to see the true man. Your Sun Moon Samsara technique is about half a step from small achievement. Let's make good use of this time to practice." Lu Chongqing didn't continue to say much, holding his gentle wife, and entered the Chongqing Hall. He planned to take a trip to Jin Kingdom, thinking there was something lingering. The cultivation technique issue of Xiaofan definitely ranked foremost. So he planned to complete the soul fusion early in these days and then deal with the supreme forgetful love technique problem as he envisioned. With this done, he would have more confidence when meeting Kai Yun true immortal. Qingyun Market. The Qingyun spirit ship slowly descended. A 26 or 27-year-old woman, with narrow eyes and crimson lips, a charming and spirited visage, wearing black and sporting a high ponytail, stepped off the spirit ship. She took a map from her storage bag and glanced at it. Seeing the location of Bai Lake Mountain, she immediately mounted her flying sword and flew towards Bai Lake Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1345. Jin Kingdom, Black Mist Swamp. Amidst the mountain forests filled with purplish-black toxic mist and miasma, more than a dozen cultivators were wandering about. If you observe closely, you can see many fearsome-looking venomous insects lurking on the ground, and dozens of ghost souls floating about. Chu Chongtian has been in the mist swamp for a year. No matter what, he couldn't possibly come out alive, right? We're only patrolling the outer areas, and we're already corroded by the poison cloud. How could someone survive so long without elixir medicines? Orders are orders. What can we do? Hang in there. I heard from Brother Tang that guarding for another half a year should be enough. These people whispered softly, a bit helpless. The black mist swamp is constantly filled with poison vapor. If not for purchasing a batch of detoxification pills from the Five Poisons cult, even though they are Foundation establishment cultivators, over time, their physical body and chi blood would be eroded, affecting their foundations. And although Chu Chongtian, whom they are pursuing, is extraordinary, in the end, he is still just a Foundation establishment cultivator. At this moment, a shrill voice suddenly came from not far away. Buzz buzz buzz, chirp chirp chirp, chatter chatter chatter. At the same time, the venomous insects on the ground roared and trembled, and the ghost souls floated and shrieked. They immediately looked through the purplish-black mist and saw a figure draped in a black cloak standing not far away. On the ground lay the figure of one of their own, engulfed in purplish-green flames. Chu Chongtian, you're still alive. Quick, send a message to Brother Tang. Seeing this scene, these people were as if seeing a ghost. they exclaimed in shock, and instead of attacking immediately, they sent a message to their senior brother. After all, they had all witnessed the strength of this Chu Chongtian. Clearly, only at the Foundation Establishment 4th level, his strength was not weaker than many in the late stage of Foundation Establishment. Especially with the six-winged golden silkworm in his hand, it was simply relentless and hard to defend against. One careless mistake and you wouldn't even know how you died. However, just as they began to speak, they saw the black-cloaked figure fly towards them like a heavenly pung. Buzz! Lu Quanzhen's body was engulfed in surging purplish-green flames, making the cold face concealed under the cloak somewhat terrifying and intimidating, and then he conjured a purplish-green gourd. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! From the gourd, an extremely dense purplish-black toxic gas surged out, then coalesced into a giant hand of poison gas, slapping down with a thunderous roar. Not good. Be careful. These people, seeing this scene, immediately became solemn, their mana surged, and they summoned their magic artifacts. Boom! Sir the novel, F. Iyer. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Purplish-green flames and the poison gas hand blasted out simultaneously. The few people closest suddenly had their mana in disorder, staggering and retreating. Eft! However, in that instant, a slender golden light shot forth, piercing through the brow of one person, who fell to the ground with a thud. Brother Luo! They saw this scene, their eyes filled with horror and dread. This person not only didn't die in the black mist swamp, but seemingly had even reached a higher level. Chu Chongtian, you're actually still alive. My long wait here hasn't been in vain. As Lu Chuanjin continued to act, a stern voice came through. Then a tall figure clad in green vine armor shot towards this place. He was both angry and astonished in his eyes. It was unexpected that Lu Chuanjin not only survived but also gained a fortuitous encounter. He had been waiting here not knowing if Lu Chuanjin was alive. Rather, he didn't know how he would report back to his master, Ghost Demon True Master. So he waited more days as proof of thorough search. This time, let's see where you can escape. He didn't say much. His hands formed a gesture incantation, summoning an immensely intimidating dark sword, and charged at Lu Chuanjin, with formidable and aggressive momentum. Escape? Underneath Lu Quanzhen's black cloak, his narrow eyes flashed with a cold glint, the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kuanping technique circulated, and a Kuanping great fish appeared behind him, causing the surrounding poison vapor to surge like a boundless sea. Boom! The giant sword clashed with the Kuanping great fish. A tremendous and astonishing mana shock wave raged and swept through, making the venomous insects and ghost souls roar and tremble. Kill! The other cultivators chasing Lu Chuanjin also rushed over, attacking him in unison, determined to kill him here. Poisonous miasma gourd. Lu Chuanjin was fearless, his eyes flashing with fierceness. He fiercely struck his chest, spitting out a blood arrow landing on the purplish-green gourd overhead. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The originally 1-foot gourd instantly enlarged to a zhang in size. A constant stream of poison gas as dense as wolf smoke surged out, covering the sky and forming numerous huge dragon snakes that charged at them menacingly. Not good. These people, seeing this, were startled. Just make sure he doesn't escape. Brother Tang, seeing this, shouted sternly. His Foundation Establishment peak mana surged like a mighty river, forming an intimidating spiritual pressure, making the giant sword greatly radiate, breaking through the Kuanping great fish with a roar. Clang! Lu Quanzhen's expression remained unchanged, and he instantly cast a purple treasure bead and talisman to defend against the giant sword coming towards him, then formed a gesture incantation with both hands. The recently shattered Kuanping great fish transformed into numerous inch-long dark tiny fishes, charging at the other cultivators. Ah! Several cultivators under the attack of the dark tiny fishes had wounds appear. Then their flesh and mana were corroded by the poisonous dragon snake. The 6-winged golden silkworm appeared, directly piercing through several people's hearts and heads, causing them to fall to the ground with a thud. Damn it! Brother Tang, seeing this, his eyes filled with ferocity. With so many dead today, if he can't bring back Lu Quanzhen's head, he wouldn't be able to explain. Go! Seeing the situation, Lu Chuanjin signaled at the 6-winged golden silkworm, and with yin-yang energies flowing around him like a pung bird, he suddenly flew into the depths of the black mist swamp. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1346, Even if it means injuring my vitality today, I must kill you. Brother Tang saw this scene and made a gesture incantation with his hands, his entire aura soaring rapidly, accompanied by ghostly cries and howls that chilled the heart. He naturally knew that Lu Chuanjun had some reliance, unafraid of the poisonous miasma of the Black Mist Swamp. But he also understood that if Lu Chuanjun escaped again today, he would have no chance of killing him. Upon returning, only his master's punishment awaited. Moreover, he had some fear and dread towards Lu Chuanjun. The other party, in the early stage of Foundation establishment years ago, had killed his master's son. 4 years he had been hunted, yet not only did he survive, he even grew rapidly, with several Foundation establishment late-stage cultivators dying at his hands. Now, forced into the Black Mist Swamp by him, he still survived. If he couldn't kill him, once Lu Chuanjun broke through to the Foundation establishment late stage, the danger would be on himself. After all, this Chu Changtian, who for more than a decade sought revenge for every slight, had wiped out several families that had hunted him before. Whoosh! Lu Chuanjun saw Brother Tang fighting desperately, shooting like a ghostly light, immediately taking out several talismans from his bosom, casting them as he continued to madly flee. This path he had determined earlier, knowing there were no demon beast dangers along the way. Should we pursue? The remaining few people saw this situation, their faces hesitant, wondering whether to continue the chase. If this Chu Changtian escapes, Ghost Demon True Master will blame us, and we cannot afford it. Immediately, someone flew in pursuit in the direction of the two. Continuing the chase, they might die. Not chasing, going back might be a fate worse than death. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The others seeing this, also gritted their teeth and chased after Lu Chuanjun and Brother Tang. Boom! At this time Brother Tang used some kind of blood-burning technique, his speed astonishingly fast, closing in on Lu Chuanjun in the blink of an eye, striking with a palm, like 100 ghosts parading at night, 10,000 ghosts wailing. The giant ghostly sword overhead shone with great light, chopping down with immense force. Puff! Lu Chuanjun summoned a treasure bead, emitting radiant light, enveloping himself, but under the sword's attack, his throat turned sweet as he spat blood. He immediately used the force to fly horizontally, commanding the 6-winged golden silkworm to swiftly attack Brother Tang. Clang! Brother Tang's body, clad in green vine armor, shone with demonic light as the 6-winged golden silkworm struck it, producing a crisp metallic sound. The 6-winged golden silkworm, not hitting its mark, turned into a golden light and disappeared. Let's see where you escape to? Brother Tang's face was twisted and ferocious, continuing to chase Lu Chuanjun, ghastly ghost runes gradually emerging on his body. Facing Brother Tang's pursuit, Lu Chuanjun found it difficult to withstand, retreating step by step, his face gradually turning pale, his breath in disarray. At this moment, buzz buzz buzz. Suddenly, black beams of light burst forth from the ground, emitting an eerie glow, enveloping Brother Tang. Formation? Brother Tang's face turned fierce, knowing Lu Chuanjun had laid a trap long ago, deliberately leading him here. But with extraordinary insight, he could see this was merely a simple formation arranged by an array device, not a great formation. Break it for me. He slapped his storage bag, producing a prohibition-breaking talisman, then making a gesture incantation, causing ghosts to wail, intending to tear the formation apart. However, just at this moment, boom boom boom. A series of earth-shaking explosions erupted. Damn it! Brother Tang's face drastically changed, not expecting Lu Chuanjun had buried thunder pearls in the ground. He hastily activated his green vine armor to the utmost, forming a huge wooden vine figure to enshroud him. Under this attack, the wooden vine figure was instantly blasted to tatters. Moments later, Brother Tang, disheveled and extremely wretched, howled at Lu Chuanjun like a fierce ghost, "I'll have you dead." This vine armor was an ancestral treasure of his family, having helped him through numerous life and death crises. But now it was nearly destroyed. He didn't die from this? Lu Quanzhen's expression was cold, somewhat surprised. It should be known, each of these thunder beads could blast a Foundation establishment late-stage cultivator to death. To think he buried 7 and still didn't kill the other. But at least I've broken your turtle shell. Seeing the vine armor broken on the other's body, the black cloak flapped sharply, a fierce light in his eyes. Facing this person was troublesome, due to being unable to break through this exotic treasure. Kill! Lu Chuanjun made a gesture incantation with both hands. A Kuanping behind him roared and howled, leaping like a fish into the sea, soaring like an eagle in the sky, accompanied by demonic sounds, surging with rolling poison attacking Brother Teng. CTH Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Die! Brother Teng's terrifying face covered in ghost runes, palm like a strange ghost hand, attacked Lu Chuanjun. The giant ghostly sword continued to strike out with domineering force. Boom, boom, boom. The two attacks exploded with a reverberating roar, rippling in all directions, causing the poisonous miasma in the air to form a tornado hurricane. Lu Chuanjun fell into a disadvantage instantaneously. Yet the surging poison also engulfed Brother Teng, eroding his flesh, turning his face a purplish black. Die for me! Brother Teng's hair danced wildly. His foundation establishment peak mana surged frantically, roaring hideously. He knew, if he didn't kill Lu Chuanjun today, he couldn't leave the Black Mist Swamp. Boom! The ghostly sword coursed with demon runes, shattered the Kuanping. The eerie ghost hand pierced straight through Lu Quanzhen's chest. Lu Quanzhen's eyes lowered, gazing at the ghost hand in his chest, a look of disbelief on his face. Ha 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 ha, Brother Teng laughed heartily. But the next moment, his laughter froze. A golden light suddenly burst through his chest, spitting blood. And Lu Quanzhen's body gradually turned into an earthen, fabricated dummy. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1347. Not far away, Lu Chuanjun appeared, his face pale and bloodless. His hands formed a gesture incantation, and the poisonous mist gourd hovering in the heavenly dome instantly suppressed Brother Teng, accompanied by a deluge of poisonous mist. At this moment, the six-winged golden silkworm no longer avoided confrontation. Its ferocious and bloodthirsty aura surged, attacking wildly as if it had nothing to lose, devouring Brother Teng's internal organs and causing him to scream in agony. Brother Teng! A few people arriving not far away witnessed this scene, their faces filled with disbelief. Ha ha ha, you still dare to chase after us? Seeing these people, Lu Chuanjun hoarsely sneered, as a terrifying black Kuanping appeared above, causing the poisonous mist to surge fiercely. Run, quickly run! Brother Teng is dead, let's go quickly. These people saw the scene and were terrified, immediately turning to flee. They hadn't been very keen on pursuing from the start. Now, seeing Brother Teng die at Lu Quanzhen's hands, they were scared out of their wits and had no desire to pursue further. Cough, cough, cough. Lu Chuanjun witnessed this but did not pursue, clutching his chest and coughing up blood. This Brother Teng's strength far exceeded his expectations, and he only managed a chance with the puppet replacement technique. At this moment, he had no strength to continue the battle. If he continued to fight, it would risk harming his own foundation. Once these people escape, the ghost demon True Master may very likely come here. I can't stay here long. No, I can't even stay in the Jin Kingdom any longer. Lu Chuanjun murmured to himself, looking at the nearly lifeless Brother Teng, a magical sword appearing in his hand. He chopped off his head, then rolled up his corpse and hurried away. By Lake Mountain. Congratulations to the host's first offspring for becoming a second-rank artifact refiner, earning a chance to draw a prize. On this day, Lu Chongsheng was cultivating the Sun-Moon Samsara technique with Xiaofan when a system prompt sounded. Second-rank artifact refiner? Lu Chongsheng guessed it must be his son Lu Yunlu advancing to second-rank artifact refiner. This son showed considerable talent in artifact refining, already being a first-grade top-level artifact refiner. Now with the breakthrough to foundation establishment, it was normal to make some progress in cultivation level, divine sense, and the path of artifact refining. Lu Chongsheng didn't pay much attention and continued practicing the Sun-Moon Samsara technique with Xiaofan. Several days later, the two took a break. Search * the novel _fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Holding the blushing languid-faced Xiaofan, Lu Chongsheng also proceeded to use the lottery he had previously earned. System draw. Accompanied by the familiar interface of a big wheel, a flame pattern emerged. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the third-rank fire seed, Burning Heart Flame. The reward has been issued to the system space. The host can check it at any time. Burning Heart Flame? Lu Chongqing raised an eyebrow lightly, his expression calm. Though he possessed the Thunder Gang Dragon Flame, this burning heart flame was likely of little use to him. But now ordinary draws were generally of little use to him unless incredibly lucky, so there was no disappointment. Fire Seed, Burning Heart Flame. Quality, 3rd rank. Description: a flame formed from the fall of a 3rd-rank great demon malicious heart beast in an endless sea of fire, invisible and colorless, capable of stirring others' heart flames, 7 emotions, and 6 desires. Heart flames also have a burning and refining mana effect. Stirring heart flames and 7 emotions and 6 desires. Lu Chongqing was somewhat pleasantly surprised by this effect. His pure and potent yin-yang magic power naturally didn't need external objects to refine mana. But this ability to stir 7 emotions and 6 desires seemed excellent to him. Practicing the 6 desires heart demon technique requires stirring 7 emotions and 6 desires. Yet under normal circumstances, cultivating through 7 emotions and 6 desires is dangerous, troublesome, and hard to control. With the burning heart flame, it became much simpler and more convenient. And the burning and refining mana effect, though of no use to me, could be useful for others at home. If the mana of my wife, concubines, and children could all be refined, then our family's overall strength could be enhanced by a level. Lu Chongqing pondered silently, aware of the importance of condensing mana. But since I already have the Thunder Gang Dragon Flame, wanting to refine the burning heart flame is very troublesome, and might even cause conflict between spiritual fires. Even if refined, using the burning heart flame to refine mana for others is inefficient and would hinder cultivation. Wait! Suddenly his thoughts paused, realizing he was caught in a mental trap. Why should he refine the burning heart flame himself? Just like a spirit plant of the world, simply placing the burning heart flame somewhere in the house would suffice. The wife, concubines, and children at home could use it to refine mana or hone their Tao hearts through 7 emotions and 6 desires. Furthermore, the effect of the burning heart flame stirring 7 emotions and 6 desires could be suppressed by Mount Sumeru, preserving only the mana refining effect. Can the burning heart flame only refine mana? Could it refine spiritual power as well? Energy refining cultivators naturally cannot withstand the effects of the burning heart flame, but what if by some means the effect of heart flames was weakened to a level they could endure? As a 3rd-rank artifact refiner, Lu Chongqing quickly had a rough concept in mind. He only needed to forge a Linglong pagoda and place the burning heart flame inside. Depending on the level of the pagoda, different levels of heart flame effects could be achieved. At the minimum, energy refining cultivators could use the burning heart flame to refine spiritual power. The more Lu Chongqing thought about it, the more feasible it seemed, and he even wanted to start constructing it right away. Chongqing, what's wrong? Nearby, with her hair disheveled and cheeks flushed, Xiaofan languidly asked. It's nothing. I just suddenly had an enlightenment on a cultivation problem and was momentarily overjoyed. Lu Chongqing immediately replied to the beautiful woman in front of him, happily pressing a kiss on her lips as delicate as flower petals. By Lake Mountain, outside the mountain gate. A woman in black descended on a sword from the sky. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1348. I wonder what business does Senior have at my by Lake Mountain? The Lu family disciples and cultivators stationed at the mountain gate immediately cupped their hands in salute upon seeing the woman. Although there by Lake Mountain was a false core family, they still held Foundation establishment cultivators in high regard. After all, no matter where, Foundation establishment cultivators are like an elder. It's best not to offend them if you can avoid it. Besides, they were only energy refining cultivators, so they felt instinctive reverence before a Foundation establishment great cultivator. May I ask if Lu Pingon is at home? The woman in black spoke out. After speaking, she added, I have an affair to discuss with him. Upon hearing this, the 2 Lu family disciples exchanged glances, saying, Does Senior have a token? Currently, Lu Pingon was akin to an ancestral figure on by Lake Mountain. Even if they knew his whereabouts, they wouldn't disclose them. After all, letting others know that their ancestor was out was an extremely risky matter. A token? The woman in black was startled and said, You can notify him, just say that his friend Qin Yi has come to visit. A friend? Please wait, Senior, I will go and notify you. One of them spoke, heading off to inform the family head, Lu Xingyang. Qini? Does my brother have such a friend? Lu Xingyang, busy handling affairs, frowned slightly as he pondered upon hearing this. Then he went to consult Lu Yun. Qini. Lu Yun shook his head, indicating he had never heard of this name. He paused his refinement of the dragon blood tree and went to the mountain gate, saying, "This senior, my brother is currently in closed-door cultivation. Do you have any tokens? Otherwise, previously my brother instructed that he not be disturbed unless there is an urgent matter." Qini knew this was the excuse used for refusing guests. She hesitated and said, "Is Lu Mingyue in the family? She should know me?" Lu Mingyue. Lu Yun was baffled, carefully recalling if there was such a person in the family. In his impression, there wasn't such a name. But there were indeed many siblings in his family. Perhaps he had forgotten. After pondering for a moment and confirming there was no such person, he said, "Is senior mistaken? We do not have a Lu Mingyue in our family." "No?" Qini frowned slightly. The letters she received constantly praised a sister named Mingyue, almost to a ridiculous extent. And Qini also realized that the letters she received were not from Lu Pingon, but from the girl named Lu Mingyue. Could she be using an alias? Qini speculated in her heart immediately. After all, judging by the letters, this person was quite unreliable. Mingyue might be a nickname she uses, claiming to be Lu Pingan's sister. "Do you have someone like that in your family?" Qini spoke out. Even though she had quite a few letters in her possession. But the content of these letters wasn't too embarrassing. Even if it wasn't the person herself, it couldn't serve as a token. Nickname. Lu Yun contemplated upon hearing this and suddenly thought of his sister Lu Wangsha's small courtyard, named Mingyue Residence. If the woman before him was a foundation establishment cultivator and came seeking his elder brother, also recognizing Wang Shu, it made some sense. But the problem is that Lu Wangshu is currently not at home either. Otherwise, going to buy Shui Lake might lead to this sister. It seems we have someone like that, but coincidentally, she is not in the family right now. Lu Yun said politely, "If senior could leave contact information, once my brother exits seclusion, or when Mingyue returns, I will inform them." Alternatively, senior could stay at our by Lake Mountain for a few days. Having served as family head for many years, he had developed some skill in recognizing people. Judging by speech and expressions, he felt the other person was not like a deceitful loose cultivator and could indeed be an acquaintance of his elder brother. "All right." Qin nodded, understanding that in the cultivation world, it was very cumbersome to meet someone. Especially since Lu Pingon had already become the Lu family ancestor, it was even more unlikely he would meet guests easily. After Lu Yun invited Qin to stay at Bai Yun Villa reserved for guest reception, he also instructed Lu Xingyang to send someone to White Tiger Mountain to inform his elder brother. White Tiger Mountain. After practicing fists with his sister Lu Lingyi, Lu Pingon returned home for a meal. Ordinary cultivators might often fast, but body-refining cultivators often eat more than ordinary people, requiring demon beast meat for every meal. "Brother, Xingyang has sent a message saying a woman named Qin claims to be your friend, seeking you. Do you know her?" Seeing his elder brother feasting, Lu Qingsong said casually, "Qin." Lu Pingan's expression froze upon hearing the name, and he asked again, "Who did you say?" Seeing this, Lu Qingsong immediately took out a jade slip and handed it to his elder brother. "Why did she come?" Upon seeing the black-clothed woman in the jade slip, Lu Pingan's tall and robust figure grew stiff. "You know her." Lu Qingsong had never seen his elder brother like this and asked aloud, "I know her." After a brief silence, Lu Pingon spoke softly, not expecting her to come to Bai Lake Mountain looking for him. Yet she was truly daring and sincere, straightforward in her character. In his youth, she embarked alone to travel far, seeking the heavenly sword sect to become what she called a great sword immortal. Previously, during the Purple Shadow secret realm, she had also directly called out to him. Yet he was timid and dawdling. Big pot, who is it?" Lu Lingyi, who was munching on her food with oil all over her mouth, asked curiously. "An old acquaintance," Lu Pingon softly replied. At this moment, both Lu Qingsong and Lu Lingyi noticed something was amiss in their elder brother's expression. "Is it someone Big Pot likes?" Lu Lingyi with clear big eyes looked at her elder brother and asked aloud. Seeing his elder brother silent and speechless, Lu Qingsong was surprised and suspicious, feeling his sister might have guessed right. Could such a person as his elder brother feel this way about romantic feelings? At this moment, a hint of gossip sprouted in his heart. Sister once said if someone likes another, they'll become dull. Big Pot looks dazed now. Lu Lingyi, as though oblivious to her elder brother's expression, took another bite of meat and mumbled. Is brother going to see this Miss Qin? Lu Qingsong, upon watching his silent elder brother, asked cautiously. After a long silence, Lu Pingon said softly, Yes, I will go to Bai Lake Mountain. In the past, he could pretend not to know or not to think about it. But since she had come to Bai Lake Mountain, he could no longer act as though he didn't know. Big Pot, I also want to go, I want to meet this sister. Lu Lingyi, with no sense of propriety, exclaimed crisply. All right, first finish eating. Lu Pingon lovingly rubbed his sister's bun hairstyle, speaking gently, wondering how to face her. Miss Qin, long time no see? Ah! He sighed inwardly. Sometimes, not wanting to go might mean can't go, or maybe truly not wanting to go. S.E. the novel, F. Iyer. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Either way, he ultimately did not go. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1349. White Tiger Mountain. Lu Qingsong watched the figures of his big brother and Xiaohe as they left, and the flames of gossip burned brightly in his heart. If he didn't need to stay at White Tiger Mountain, he would have wanted to return to Bai Lake Mountain to see what was going on. TSK, I never thought my big brother would act this way when faced with emotions. Lu Qingsong shook his head in amazement, finding it hard to believe that the usually tall and imposing big brother had this side to him. At this moment, he thought of his older brother Lu Qingshan. What would he be like if he had someone he loved? Though this big brother is proud and arrogant, with eyes set high, not many ladies would be able to catch his eye. CTH Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Pingon looked at the familiar Bai Lake Mountain before him, and for a moment felt a bit apprehensive. In his mind, he recalled a black-clad girl pursing her lips, emotionless, introducing herself. My father's surname is Qin, my mother's surname is Yi, so I'm called Qin Yi. She often told him her aspirations, that she wanted to become a great sword immortal. For this, she traveled alone, aiming to join the largest sword cultivation sect in Jiang country, the Heavenly Sword Sect. Big Pot, we've arrived. Lu Lingyi, as always, was without tact. Seeing his big brother standing still, he urged him to move and see the sister. Lu Pingon took a deep breath, grabbed his sister, and stepped into Bai Lake Mountain, heading to Bai Yun Peak to ask Lu Yun where Qin Yi was. Miss Qin is at the water pavilion in Bai Yun Villa. Lu Yun said to his big brother. Then looking at Xiaohe, who was full of joy and excitement, he paused and said, Xiaohe, brother Yun has something for you to help with, come with me. He had just talked to his mother yesterday about Qin Yi. His mother said father seemed to have mentioned that Pingon had a puppy love girlfriend, but the details weren't clear to Lu Miaoyun. So Lu Yun became cautious. Seeing his big brother return immediately, his demeanor seemed a bit different than usual, more restrained and less carefree. He suspected something. In this situation, he naturally didn't want the sister to disturb his brother meeting his beloved. But I want to see Sister Qin, Lu Lingyi said with some reluctance. The family just made new desserts and hopes someone will taste them, so I want to ask you for help, Xiaohe. Your sister Qin isn't leaving right now, we can go see her after we eat, it's quick. Lu Yun said. Please, Xiaohe. Lu Lingyi hesitated for a moment and said, Okay then. Big brother, you go and take care of your things. Lu Yun immediately said to his big brother, then took Xiaohe towards the meal hall. Lu Pingon forced a smile and nodded, took a deep breath, feeling heavy-footed as he walked to Bai Yun Villa. At this moment, Qin Yi sat in the small pavilion, staring blankly into the distance at Bai Shui Lake. After learning about Lu Pingan's situation, she set off to come to Bai Lake Mountain on the Qin Yun spirit ship. But now that she was at Bai Lake Mountain, she felt a little lost, not knowing why she came. Maybe just to ask a question, Maybe expecting something, maybe expecting nothing at all, who could say? Just then, she snapped back to reality and noticed a tall and burly young man standing ahead. His features were rugged, not exactly handsome, but decent. With a tall and strong build, his presence was majestic. But at this moment, he seemed somewhat awkward. Lu Pingon, why were the letters sent to the Heavenly Sword sect from Lu Mingyue and not from you? What's going on? Qin Yi saw this young man and directly asked. Ah! Startled by her words, Lu Pingon was taken aback. What did she mean? The letters sent to Heavenly Sword sect? Lu Mingyue? However, he indeed hadn't written any letters to Miss Qin. His sister Lu Wangshu had asked him about this before, but he chose avoidance. Looking at the skinny-eyed, red-lipped, cute-faced, black-clad girl with a high ponytail ahead, he replied awkwardly, Miss Qin, long time no see. Long time no see? If I hadn't heard your name, Lu Pingon, by chance, I wouldn't know when we'd meet. The black-clad girl looked at him, as always naive, and spoke with displeasure. Lu Pingon hesitated, subconsciously wanting to scratch his head to relieve the embarrassment, but then lowered his raised hand. It had been a long time. But for some reason, it felt as if it were the first meeting. Qin Yi laughed upon seeing the eldest son of the Bai Lake Mountain Lu family, renowned for defeating false-core patriarchs, being so nervous and flustered in front of her. She stepped forward smiling. Lu Pingon, you haven't changed a bit. Ah, Miss Qin, you've gotten taller. Lu Pingon thought for a moment and said to the black-clad girl before him. Back then, Qin Yi barely reached his chest, now she's almost up to his shoulder. Qin Yi arched an eyebrow, slightly raised her head, looking at Lu Pingon who was a head taller than her. Is being tall impressive? Ah! Lu Pingon was taken aback and quickly said he didn't mean that. Then what do you mean? Are you saying that at the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, the Enping wasn't you, and you haven't seen me, so you don't know I've grown taller? The black-clad girl continued to question. Lu Pingon felt more nervous than when he was facing Patriarch Sima, even sweating on his forehead. He truly didn't know how to answer these questions coming one after another. Big pot, big pot. Just then, a 16 or 17-year-old girl wearing a red outfit with a skirt, standing on windfire wheels, with two bun-style hairdos, flew in angrily. Brother Yun tricked me. Said there'd be good food. But there wasn't. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1350. In the conversation, there was quite a bit of grievance. Not far behind, Lu Yun was practically breaking out in a cold sweat. Phew! Lu Pingon heard the voice, as if waiting for a savior to arrive. He relaxed and touched his sister's head, then turned to Qin Yi and introduced, Miss Qin, this is my sister. However, before he could finish his words, Lu Lingyi, with her bright eyes, looked at the woman in black openly and said, Are you Qin Yi's sister, the one Big Pot likes? Lu Pingan's face froze, immediately covering his sister's mouth, feeling beads of sweat emerge on his forehead. Lu Lingyi couldn't say a word, her face full of grievance. Today not only did Brother Yun deceive her, but even Big Pot bullied her. Lu Pingon, is what she said true? Qin Yi's expression was very calm, her ruby lips gracefully set as her chin lifted slightly, and she asked. Lu Pingon was at a loss for words, totally unsure of how to answer. Not far away, Lu Yun looked as if he'd seen a ghost. He hadn't thought his own elder brother could have such a side. It seems that this Miss Qin, no, this Lady Qin, is indeed his brother's beloved. But looking at this, it's clear that brother hadn't forgotten Miss Qin, so why haven't they met each other all along? You don't speak and even cover your sister's mouth, not allowing her to talk? Seeing Lu Pingon silent, Qin Yi frowned slightly again, gazing at Lu Lingyi in her red dress, wondering if this was Lu Mingyue? It doesn't seem like she's that self-absorbed, mischievous? Big Pot also bullies me. Once Lu Ling's mouth was released and she could speak again, she was immediately full of grievance. But her sadness faded fast, as she floated over to the woman in black and said, Sister Qin Yi, my name is Lu Lingyi, you can call me Little He. Hello Little He, you know me? Qin Yi showed a slight smile and inquired. I heard from Brother Qing's song that there's a sister here to see Big Pot, and when Big Pot saw you, Sister Qin Yi, he was so dazed, as my sister says, only when encountering someone he likes will he be dazed. Little He said crisply, her voice sharp and clear. She's friendly with everyone she meets, quite personable. She continued to ask, Sister Qin Yi, how did you meet Big Pot? A long time ago. Qin Yi's eyes showed a trace of reminiscing. She still clearly remembers when she was being chased by a tiger demon. Lu Pingon appeared and using martial skills and talismans, killed the tiger demon. She remembered him with the look of a foolish son of a landlord's family. But he being the eldest son of the Bai Lake Mountain Lu family, calling him a foolish son of a landlord family doesn't seem off? Qin Yi was so talking with Lu Lingyi, while Lu Pingon stood there stiffly, not knowing what to say. Sister Qin Yi, do you like Big Pot? Lu Lingyi thus inquired. Qin Yi's face with a few smiles became slightly awkward. Then she looked at the motionless Lu Pingon and continued, Lu Pingon, you still haven't answered my question. Why are the letters to the Heavenly Sword sect all written by Lu Mingyue and none by you? I don't know either. Though Lu Pingon may be clumsy, he's not dumb. He roughly guessed that this Lu Mingyue is his sister Lu Wangshu. After all, back then for some unknown reasons, his sister knew of Qin Yi's matters and even earnestly asked him about it. Unable to resist his sister's pleading, he talked about some of the things between them from back then. Heavenly Sword Sect? This Miss Qin is from the Heavenly Sword Sect? Lu Yun not far away was a bit surprised. You should know that coming from the Heavenly Sword Sect to Bai Lake Mountain is very far, at least a half-year journey. And this Miss Qin has come all this way to see his brother, just to ask about the letters? But Wang Shu wrote to this Miss Qin, and brother didn't know? Lu Yun was also a bit bewildered, muttering in his heart, what on earth is all this about? Saw the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Don't know? Are you saying that all of Lu Mingyu's letters had none of your involvement? Upon hearing this, Qin Yi raised an eyebrow straight, speaking directly. Though the letters sent many contained things that left her speechless. But the letters clearly knew about the things between her and Lu Pingon, thinking some normal contents being directed by Lu Pingon. Unexpectedly, none of the letters were actually written by him. About that. Lu Pingon was somewhat embarrassed, really not knowing how to respond. Lu Pingon, are you dense? Qin Yi said, not in a good mood. Miss Qin, I'm sorry. Lu Pingon thought for a moment, responding with an apology. There's nothing to be sorry for, how you act is up to you. Qin Yi spoke with an expressionless face. Finishing the sentence, she sighed again and spoke in a low voice. Besides, even if there was a letter from you within, I wouldn't have seen it. Okay, I won't make it difficult for you, since it's nothing urgent, I'll be heading back. She looked at Lu Pingon once more and spoke. Though he still appeared the same as ever. But since he doesn't wish for entanglements with her, she naturally wouldn't disrupt or persistently inquire. Sister Qin Yi, are you leaving? Lu Lingyi nearby asked aloud. Brother, Miss Qin has come a long way, you and little he should host her, show her around our place, and have her stay a few days. Nearby, Lu Yun spoke quickly and transmitted to little he that this Miss Qin must be kept. Though he didn't understand why his brother was so hesitant. He could see that both liked each other, thus hoping they could be harmoniously together. Because of the family. Lu Yun pondered thoughtfully. He had a very good impression of his brother Lu Pingon. With high cultivation level, without the slightest arrogance nor pomp, he took good care of his brothers and sisters at home. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1351. Not only does it care for the Bai Lake Mountain, but it also treats the Lu family of Rui Prefecture equally. Over the decades, Lu Pingon has always shown concern towards the Lu family disciples sent to Bai Lake Mountain after their spiritual roots were detected in the secular world. From this, it can be seen that this elder brother of mine carries a heavy sense of responsibility. Over the years, except for annual visits to Rui Prefecture or family affairs, Lu Pingon has mostly been stationed at White Tiger Mountain, having no time to travel far. Although letters could be written, Bai Lake Mountain and the Heavenly Sword sect are far apart. In such circumstances, my brother fears delaying the other party, which is understandable. Lu Yun saw Lu Lingyi pulling Qin Yi to take her out for a stroll and didn't think much further, flying towards Bai Yun Peak. He felt it necessary to inform his mother of this matter, and then let his mother inform his father. Even though father has never worried about family affairs, isn't it appropriate to be concerned about brother's lifelong affairs? Moreover, Sister Lu Wangshu seems to know about brother and this Miss Qin's matters. He highly suspects it was revealed from their father. Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Chongqing Hall. Lu Chongqing and Xiao Xia were practicing the sun-moon samsara technique, with a bright sun and luminous moon swirling above their heads, emitting radiant mystical light. At this moment, the two entered a mysterious state, their souls and divine sense gradually merging like water and milk. After a long time, the spirits, thoughts and souls of the two seemed to merge into one, each capable of sensing every thought in the other's mind. Boom! Just then, a turbulent magic aura suddenly surged from Xiao Xia's Qi Ocean core, breaking through from the Foundation Establishment's 7th layer to the 8th layer. The two slowly opened their eyes, and both saw a radiant sun and luminous moon between each other's brows. Congratulations to my Xia for the breakthrough. Lu Chongqing gently stroked the jade-like face of the fairy in front of him and said kindly. Not only did Xiao Xia break through to the 8th layer of foundation building, but the sun-moon samsara technique also reached small achievement. Now, the two can achieve soul fusion through the radiant sun and luminous moon. It's all thanks to you, Chongqing. Xiao Xia's face blushed, her beautiful eyes still shimmered with a faint spiritual desire, charming and enchanting. Xia, let's try now to see if we can resolve the supreme forgetful love technique. Lu Chongqing suggested aloud. He had once seen, via spiritual communion, a female immortal appearing without feelings like the great Tao in the depths of Xiao Xia's sea of consciousness. However, because the sun-moon samsara technique of the other party hadn't reached small achievement, it was impossible to integrate actively, preventing deeper contact. Now, with the other sun-moon samsara technique having reached small achievement, he could try further. Okay. Xiao Xia also showed a glimmer of anticipation in her eyes. Immediately, the two simultaneously activated the sun-moon samsara technique, with the radiant sun and divine moon manifesting between their brows, releasing brilliant light that shone upon each other. Buzz buzz buzz. This power flowed between them, constantly vibrating, extraordinarily mystical. With Xiao Xia's initiative, this process was very smooth. However, as Xiao Xia activated the supreme forgetful love technique, an unapproachable indifference involuntarily emerged from her spiritual state. Moments later, Lu Chongqing saw in the depths of Xiao Xia's soul, a hazy female immortal revealing the unfeeling great Tao and absolute impartiality of the heavenly Tao, starting to attempt further soul fusion using the yin-yang creation scripture, coming into contact with this female immortal. Much like the early years, the hazy figure shimmered with an intangible barrier, repelling him. But at that moment, an intent filled with gentle emotions emerged, weakening the female immortal's rejection to gradually merge with him. As they merged incessantly, Lu Chongqing noticed that a look of pain appeared on Xiao Xia's extraordinarily beautiful face. He realized that it was a spiritual conflict arising from the supreme forgetful love technique. Sar the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Currently, Xiao Xia's soul and sea of consciousness primarily revolved around this female immortal. Should any issue arise, it could lead to soul disorder and fracturing of the sea of consciousness. Lu Chongqing immediately signaled Xiao Xia to stop further fusion, slowly operating the yin-yang creation scripture, encompassing this female immortal, and perceiving the intent of the supreme forgetful love within. After a long time, Lu Chongqing comprehended and realized that the female immortal before him was Xiao Xia. It could also be said that this was Xiao Xia's second personality. In fact, most of the time in daily life, Xiao Xia exists in this persona. Only when confronting Lu Wangshu or Yun Wanshang and the like would the present persona consciousness gradually awaken. And the other party's attempt to break through core formation lies in completely forgetting love, forgetting Lu Chongqing, Lu Wangshu, Yun Wanshang, and even oneself. The heavenly Tao is absolutely impartial, the great Tao is selfless, the supreme is emotionless. Lu Chongqing found it exceptionally tricky. Any interference impacting this female immortal would harm Xiao Xia. He attempted to use the yin-yang creation scripture, a force compatible with everything, to soothe this female immortal and calm her. Under the incredibly enigmatic yin-yang power, Xiao Xia's spiritual world gradually stabilized, with the pain on her face vanishing. Indeed, supreme forgetfulness, yet cultivators can never reach the stage of absolute impartiality and hence can be influenced. Lu Chongqing breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Acknowledging that Xiao Xia's condition hadn't yet reached the point of being completely uninfluenceable, he contemplated solving this predicament. He had previously considered forming a different path based on the Supreme Forgetful Love technique. However, Xiaofan had already reached the doorway of this path. To walk a different road was as difficult as ascending to heaven. This female immortal is precisely the practice of the Supreme Forgetful Love technique by Xia, but it eludes her control. Once the Supreme Forgetful Love technique operates, it predominates in this persona. But it's useless even if controlled. To further progress, this persona must become the primary one completely. Having emotions or being emotionless, it is the yin-yang. Whether it can form a balance, and sometimes needing emotions, sometimes not. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1352. Lu Chongqing, with the theoretical foundation of his yin-yang creation scripture, kept pondering. After a long while, a thought emerged in his heart. Since he couldn't interfere with this personality, could Xiaofan intervene on her own? Coincidentally, the two states represent emotion and non-emotion. Could they achieve yin-yang balance and forge a different path? Yu. Lu Chongqing immediately expressed his idea. The novel_fire. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. He suggested that their souls be centered around Xiaofan, allowing her to actively integrate with the female immortal, while he assisted from behind. As expected, Xiaofan approached integrating with the female immortal, and the other party did not reject or resist her as it did with him. However, the two still could not achieve balance. Lu Chongqing immediately operated the yin-yang creation scripture, embracing all, encompassing all, aiding Xiaofan to achieve balance with her. At the same time, Lu Chongqing's Tai divine soul emitted a faint golden glow, revealing the essence of his yin-yang creation scripture, like the profound sound of the great Tao echoing in Xiaofan's mind, forming mysterious and profound runes, suggesting she actively formed the yin-yang balance. Buzz. As the yin-yang creation scripture gradually merged into the spiritual domain, Xiaofan's female immortal deep within her sea of consciousness seemed less indifferent than before. Thus, time slowly passed. The hazy female immortal, like the supreme forgetfulness, with eyes appearing to channel the yin-yang rotation. Her left eye resembled the nine heavens' bright moon, supreme forgetfulness. Her right eye was like the rising sun, emotion as the Tao seed. The sun and moon rotated, yin-yang flowed. Xiaofan's sea of consciousness seemed to slowly change. It's feasible. Lu Chongqing observed that Xiaofan's soul and spiritual world were heading towards an emotional and non-emotional yin-yang balance. However, he couldn't be certain of the specifics and could only rely on Xiaofan herself. Time ticked away. It's unclear how much time had passed. Buzz. In Xiaofan's sea of consciousness, behind the female immortal's head, a yin-yang ring gradually formed. This yin-yang ring glowed brightly, seemingly supporting her soul and spiritual world. The yin-yang of heaven and earth encompasses all. Emotion and non-emotion are yin-yang. Supreme forgetfulness. Emotion can exist within non-emotion. Cultivation is the great Tao. He is also the great Tao. At this moment, Xiaofan defied the conflict of supreme forgetfulness intention, resolving the balance of cultivation technique. The two opened their eyes, exiting the state of soul fusion. Chongqing. Xiaofan's beautiful eyes were moist, full of affection and joy. Yu, how do you feel? Lu Chongqing's face showed some fatigue as he asked with concern. This process took a significant toll on him. If his cultivation level weren't far above Xiaofan's and he didn't have the Tai divine soul, he couldn't have helped her maintain soul balance. These days were even more exhausting than when he saved Chu Qingyi. However, seeing the situation temporarily resolved, he felt a burst of joy, feeling the hardship was worthwhile. I feel great now. Xiaofan spoke softly, indicating that not only had the situation been resolved, but she also gained tremendous benefits, perfectly controlling her soul state. The only issue was that the original Supreme Forgetful Love technique was no longer suitable for her. She had to extend her current ideology based on the original cultivation technique, forging her own unique path. Otherwise, continuing cultivation would gradually revert to the original state. Don't worry, I'm here. Lu Chongqing held her, speaking softly. Developing a cultivation technique is indeed difficult. But with so many techniques to draw upon, and the help of Hong Lian, the nascent soul true lord, the cave mystique treasure mirror, he was confident they would find a path. Moreover, there's no need to completely develop the cultivation technique at once. For now, it's enough to develop a method for Xiaofan to break through core formation. The rest can be slowly developed later. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible.